It's that time again. Welcome to the stage. Oh yeah. Where energy and creativity collide. Here we go. Let's level up. Make this something to remember. All right.
What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to NACE Star League, week number 7. I am Septilance, joined by Powder, and we are stoked to be bringing you yet another action-packed day of Rocket League. But before we get into all the logistics and all the gameplay, Powder, how you doing, man?
Septilance, I am doing fantastic. We finally get to go back into it. We took a little bit of a break with the holiday last week, and now we hop back into it. And what do you know? We hop into the last week of the regular season. These teams with their last opportunity to clinch that number 1 seed, or at the very worst, try to get that 2 and 3 seed to try to continue their season.
Absolutely. Today is going to be a day of a lot of undefeated teams left. But before we get to those teams, let's take a look at the season format, like Powder mentioned. Last week of regular season right now. Then we've got conference play-ins. After that, we go into the conference championship, obviously, as championships work. Then from that, we go into last chance qualifier, the last chance for these teams to make a name for themselves into playoffs. And playoffs, of course, will turn into an in-person event December 3rd and 4th, aka the Grand Finals.
Exciting season ahead. Like we said, last week of the regular season, and for today's schedule, lots of exciting matches. We get a lot of undefeated teams on the docket today. Shawnee State University against King Tornado. Followed up by that is Mizzou versus Kansas State University. After that, we got Old Dominion and Rochester. And at the very end, a battle of 2 teams in CRL at the moment, Kennesaw State University and West Virginia University. A lot of these powerhouses in NACE finally going at it, because with the way that the schedule lined up, it meant to be so that these higher seeds coming in face each other in the last week. And this is what I've been looking forward to, is the week where it all comes down to this. We talked a lot about how earlier matches meant a lot more because you needed to get the win before this week, and now we're in that moment. You've got to take it against these big teams.
Absolutely, and there's more than just today's wins on the line. There is that scholarship pricing as well. Third place, $375, second place, $750, and first place, $1,500. We would definitely want to bring that up because that is a very cool thing to get scholarship pricing for, well, playing a video game. I think that's very neat. I feel like I say that every week. It's a very cool thing, and I definitely want to bring some love to it. But, Powder, like you said, I think this is the first week we have seen this many undefeated teams since literally week 1.
It's gotta be. You know, we've seen maybe 1 or 2, if the most, 2 a week, and now we get it where I think the vast majority, all but 2 are undefeated coming into tonight, and it's kind of what you expect. Some of these teams are some of the best in NACE. Obviously, they've taken the wins against the teams a little bit lower seeded than them, and now it's their turn to go against the big dogs. Just a reminder as well to join the Super Team page over at Extra Life. We could not do it without their help. We know they would appreciate your support as well. And Septilance, again, this final week, of course, it's a double header with the break last week, so a lot of matches to be played for these teams in this final week as they try to get into the playoffs.
And these players, when we get into playoffs, they're really going to need something to keep them awake. And what better than Duncan, NACE Star League, like most of America, or all of America, runs on Duncan. So a big shout out to Duncan for making everything today possible, along with our other sponsors like Extra Life, like Powder mentioned a moment ago. But Powder, I'm very excited to talk about these teams and what they are ready to bring to the table, because it's going to be all about who can lead and who can take that furthest run forward to make it in the grand finals.
And with these bigger teams, you kind of expect those leaders to stand up and stand out and take leadership of their team to get these wins. You know, especially with the later on matches, some teams at the top of any league really have that opportunity. And of course, if you're watching Rocket League for the first time, we do play 5-minute games, unlimited overtime. It's a golden goal. We go until the ball finds the back of the net. Best of 5 will win the series. We play on default settings, and the home team will play on the blue side. And for this, you mentioned we mentioned the leadership semblance. How do you feel that these teams are going to try to bring that into tonight, and specifically for Shawnee State coming up tonight?
Yeah, Shawnee State, this is a team that we have seen what feels like a million times, and in reality, I think it's like 3. I think it's not that many, but a lot more than a lot of other times, or a lot of other teams we've seen. We know Fire Raptor, we know Zayat, and we know Fiskai. 3 serious power players, intense players that we have seen week after week tear teams down and go undefeated through and through. And I'm really excited because I never thought I'd make it to week 7 without seeing an undefeated team, but King Tornado, I have never seen them before, so I think they've got some really big shoes to fill coming into tonight.
Yeah, they certainly do. King, we've gotten to see them before. They compete in a lot of collegiate leagues, so I've gotten to see this, not necessarily this roster, but I've seen Matt specifically play. This is a dangerous team. You know, they commonly don't finish number 1, but they are a team that you cannot disrespect. They will show up when need be, and, you know, coming in at 5-0, they certainly have that opportunity tonight against Shawnee, a powerhouse team who we've already seen demolish a couple teams.
Without a doubt. I will say a little bit of Septilence lore for absolutely nobody caring. Matt, M at symbol, was actually my tag before Septilence because my name is Matt, and seeing that was very confusing for me, but it's very cool. I'm glad to see the name still getting some love even when I'm not using it. But Powder, tonight, I'm going to spoil it for everybody watching. For the first time in 7 weeks, we completely agreed on who we thought the winners were going to be tonight, and I'm excited to see if we're going to go 4 for 4, are we going to go 0 for 4, where are we going to fall on that, but starting off strong, and I think this comes with a lot of the recency bias. We've seen Shawnee State. We know what they're bringing to the table, and I think we're both pretty confident they're going to be able to win this one as well.
And as well for Shawnee State, we saw them finish high in CRL qualifiers as well. I believe King Tornado did as well, so again, no disrespect to them. Just with what we've seen from Shawnee, this is a team who, when they show up, they simply cannot be stopped. So King has a lot in it for them tonight, but I do believe that overall Shawnee has the advantage. Of course, that's a little bit of bias. We've gotten to see Shawnee a couple times. I certainly think King has an opportunity. This will go to at least 4 or 5 games, but I do give Shawnee that slight edge.
Yeah, King Tornado, you know, full disclosure, chat, I always keep it 100 with you. Like I said, King Tornado, not a team I'm super familiar with, but from what Powder has told me, this is not going to be any form of easy run for Shawnee. This could very likely be a Game 4, Game 5 scenario. At this point, we're basically used to Game 5s, Game 4s. I feel like we've seen a million at this point. We went forever without them, and now they feel so unbelievably constant. Going to be jumping in, rocking it on Manfield, short and sweet, nothing special, going to be bringing it out. And Powder, I feel like I keep saying I'm eager, but I really am. I'm really excited because this is where you cannot pull any punches. This is where your team communication has to be 100%. Your shots on goal have to be 100%. You as a team have to be 110% or you're going to lose, and it's going to absolutely wreck your record.
It is, and this is the huge thing about the way that the NACE schedule works. Again, we mentioned that these higher seeded matchups come late in the season, so you do get that opportunity to work on your team over the course of the season. Everybody goes against the hardest teams last, and now it's time to show up. And King, after a little bit of defense, does get it back the other way for some offense, and a miss from Shawnee State. That's not a start that they want. King off early.
That's not a start anybody wants except King. I mean, what an opening. KC Colts just sneaks past that double defender Fiskai. A mistouch on the ball leaves the goal wide open, and King, 29 seconds into the matchup, puts their first point on the board.
Great start for King. Oh, Shawnee coming back, though, right off the kickoff. Can he get the follow? He can. Zio right back in. Perfect turnaround from Shawnee.
Welcome to week 7. Holy cow. I mean, Zayat just single-handedly, four-wheeledly knocks that in, ties thing up in 5 seconds, I think. That was an incredible turnaround. So 0-0 turns into 1-1, which is basically 0-0. Somebody needs that 1-point lead. And like we said, Shawnee, they are our expected winners. But King has already shown us they are ready to pack a punch tonight.
And they're back on offense again as Matt into the midfield. Zio will get a stop. Needs to get it back the other way. Shawnee early has struggled to break out. Obviously, their goal came from the kickoff, but a lot of sustained pressure here in the first minute or so for King. Now they're holding it even further. Zio losing control, giving it away to Turbo, looking for the back wall, back into the corner. It'll be Fire Raptor to take back over. Shot high, perfect pass down to Matt. Low shot is in, and King regains their lead.
King regains their lead early, only a minute off the clock and already 3 points on the board. I love the level of aggression we're playing, Powder, and I think it's because we're getting to the point, not to insult any teams we've seen before, but we're getting to the point where everybody is very, very good. And when you get to this level, there's only one way to play this game, and it is fast.
We'll have to see how Shawnee turns things around. They don't get a kickoff goal this time, but maybe an opportunity found off of it. as they do get it back the other way. Said it's KC Cole, so a quick challenge from Zayat, though. Coming back off the back wall, backwards pass, but behind Fire Raptor a little bit as he now will push it forward into the corner, taking his sweet time with it. KC Cole to break out, though, and a successful challenge out. Zayat taking back over. And right now, King Tornado doing a good job of keeping the Shawnee offense out. That was two who went for it. Open
no way.
wall, can turbo double.
Oh!
It's wide and into the corner. Fishy will attempt to take back over, but Shawnee nearly got bit there. Nearly another one in for King.
That was dangerous. I mean, Turbo, the one that set up that goal, was the very one to destroy it. That was a very unfortunate scenario. And Powder, something I'm starting to notice right away, something I said about Shawnee week after week after week, is they loved to play that aerial gameplay. They loved to keep the ball high in the sky. They wanted to make sure nobody could catch them up top. And right now, King Tornado is answering that with aerial gameplay of their own. And it has been flawless so far. The aerial disruptions and bumps and ball steals, I mean, has been huge for King Tornado. And I think that's the exact reason they're being able to not only score on Shawnee, but take a lead, and we're entering the second half. King Tornado, I'm going to say it, they are large and in charge right now.
They certainly are, and like you mentioned, the aerial ability from King has definitely thrown Shawnee off. We've seen them pick apart teams, Shawnee specifically, as the shot is ripped away from Shawnee. And again, we've seen Shawnee in the first couple of matches that we've gotten to see them in control the aerial play with something like this, but normally they don't have turbo going up. Still, it's a miss, and Zayat will take advantage. 2-2 as we're nearing 2 minutes remaining.
Zayat with that advantage once again. I mean, so far, not to talk poorly about the rest of Shawnee, but it's been Zayat. It's been Zayat on the board back-to-back, keeping this team alive. Without them, this would be a 2-0 right now, and that's what I get worried about. Every week, Powder, I talk about, those teams that have a front runner and two backup players instead of a strong team of three. I don't think Shawnee is that, but right now, they're playing like it.
Yeah, it's interesting because Zayat has definitely been that first man for Shawnee all season long. Obviously, we haven't gotten to see him in matches that hasn't been broadcast, but now in 3 matches, it seems like he's their main guy for Shawnee. So it's up to him at this point to kind of be that leader, maybe be that first man still. Obviously, you don't want to just completely rely on him, and I don't think they've reached that point at all. But it's something to watch out for, because if you're King and if you can shut down and just stifle Zayat specifically, they're going to have a lot more success as they go for another passing play in the midfield. It'll be Matt to keep it going. And King, again, just holding that offense.
90 seconds left on the clock. Zayat has ball control, spikes it down into center field. It's knocked away into a kind of a sloppy corner shot. Fire Raptor might be able to. No, will catch it. Answered by Turbo, but it goes right underneath into the hands of King Tornado's KC Colts. Zayat takes it high, but Matt is going to be there to catch it. Nope, actually goes right underneath it, and now ball control is going to be stifled to nobody. Knocked away from this no-man land toward the goal of Shawnee. Oh, there's the double tap. Where's the follow-through? There it is, off to the side, but it's the quadruple tap that seals the deal. KC Colts puts that 3rd point on the board with exactly 60 seconds left on the clock.
This is just a little too passive from Fishy. And honestly, it's hard to say that because I think he was facing the wrong way. He did make the turn, and he did challenge. But Fishy needs to try to get that challenge a little bit earlier. Because of the space given, it's dished over. And now King again with the lead. Shawnee forced to come back one more time, and they have less than a minute to do so. And they might need 2. No, instead Fishy is on the back wall. Duro allowing him to take advantage of this as Zayat now to the side wall. Not a lot of boost left. He can't steal the midfield, but he can't get control of the ball. Pushed forward, beaten out by Matt. Fishy forced to try to play this one out. And again, Shawnee really struggling to get out. Zayat with the miss there. Somebody needs to be there. It's Fishy. He plays it over towards the corner. Down in front, Zayat nearly beaten out. Second one coming through. Stop made. Shawnee has 25 seconds to get back the other way. Try to get this tied.
This has been very close, but as we know, close, simply not going to cut it. You've got to put that ball 100% past the goal line. Shawnee has to tie things up right here, right now. Or Powder, I think this is going to be the first time we see them lose a game.
It certainly could be. I honestly don't remember if they lost a game in the previous matches. They do have a chance in the final seconds, though. Midfield pass, but nobody is there across the field. And King walks away with a solid Game 1 victory.
Yeah, that was a very, I don't want to say dominant, but like I said, they really felt like they were in control a majority of the time. Both times they were scored on felt very accidental. There was a small slip up. Zayat capitalized off the back of it, and King, they sneak in with that first game victory. Makes things a little bit harder for Shawnee, but that's why we do best of 5s instead of best of 3s, because in a best of 3, you lose game 1, and you are really in a tough spot. But in a best of 5, losing game 1, not as scary, not as detrimental. This could be an opportunity for Shawnee to learn, see what King is bringing to the table, and adapt quickly.
Yeah, and they just seemed a little bit uncomfortable with what King was bringing. You mentioned early on, Subtilence, how King was matching, if not exceeding, the aerial play from Shawnee.
Yes.
I don't know if Shawnee needs to try to get more aerial play themselves, or if they just need to get up into the air to shut down the play from King, because they looked a little too comfortable with that, and it just felt like that was really the name of game 1, is Shawnee started off uncomfortable, and after that it was King's game to lose. It's just, I think we lost Subtilence just for a moment. But again, to go over the game 1, I think he's back. But yeah, it felt like King just had control with how much aerial play that they contained.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I went to like full screen my thing and I hit the X instead of the square and I closed my whole tab, but I'm back. Hopefully my freeze frame wasn't too ugly, but either way, I heard you the whole time, Powder, and I wholeheartedly agree. Shawnee, maybe they need to, this is weird because as a caster, we get to sit and think, okay, they either need to drastically increase their aerial gameplay or ditch the idea entirely and go back to basics and play it low and slow and try to get some goals on the ground. Immediately a demolition comes through in favor of Shawnee. Not sure which player we're looking at, but it's a clean one. I'd guess Zayat, but no, it's Fire Raptor defying expectations and sinking that goal in 6 seconds into the matchup.
Yeah, it wasn't Zayat getting the goal, but it was Zayat with the demolition that opened this up to allow Fire Raptor to get the shot. Turbo on the back line, it's a bit of an awkward play. I'm not sure why he cheats out so far and then doesn't end up going for it. He turns back, can't get the save in time, and it only can go into the net. So good start from Shawnee, exactly what King did to them in the previous game. They've at least improved on this, where they now don't allow the kickoff goal, and they're actually looking for more back on offense, but Fishy beat now. Turbo with an open net cut off by Fire Raptor into the corner, plenty of time to work with. And Shawnee already looking a little more comfortable as it's an open net spawned from Casey Raptor. Can he get in? No, he can't. But Zayat will half flip into it, and Fishy will clean it up and knock it home.
This guy going to be putting that second point on the board. We've only got 30 seconds off the clock, and Powder, I don't think I can say it better. They're starting to feel notably more comfortable. Is that game 1 jitters going up against another undefeated team? Was it just maybe they weren't warmed up as much as they wanted to be? Maybe they're adjusting to what kind of ping change they're experiencing, but either way, Shawnee coming out strong and loud here in game 2. Already up 2-0, but there's that double-edged sword of scoring early, right, Powder, where you put 2 points on the board, but your opponents still have 4 minutes and 15 seconds to score twice. And as we've learned from King Tornado, that is easy.
It certainly is. As Matt now dumps it in. It's an open net. It is a little bit wide, and Fire Raptor will take over. He goes into the air, over 1, still with control into the corner. Midfield pass, gets a slight bump.
Wow.
The save still comes through, and Fiskai over towards the side. Zayat attempting to take back over, still with control, loses it now into the midfield. And it's King Tornado again trying to break back out. Loses control with the fake from Fire Raptor, gains it right back.
Whoa.
Stop made by Fiskai in the corner. Clear out the other way, and Shawnee again looking much more comfortable than they did in game 1. A shot wide, nobody there for the rebound, but again, it's this offense that is just making King so uncomfortable.
Yeah, without a doubt. Shawnee has decided we need to play full offense. We cannot worry about our defense right now. We just need to react when the time appears. Fiskai with a great tap in off the corner, passes it up to Turbo, who's going to spike it down in front of the goal. Is Matt going to find the capitalization? No, it's knocked away by Fire Raptor, and Zayat trying to snatch ball control up into the far left corner. That's a setup on the goal. Where's the follow-through? Another disruption from King Tornado. Fire Raptor has to use everything in his tank to get in the way and force that momentum away from King Tornado. It stopped them for a moment, but it won't stop them forever. KC Colt puts that first point on the board, and all of a sudden, that safety net for Shawnee has been ripped away.
Shawnee needs to avoid this cheat up Zayat. He's the man pushing up into the middle, and it's not a horrible position to be in, but with the teammate right in front of him, I believe it was Fiskai, there's just no need to do it. You now have 2 men within just a few feet of each other. It bounces off of his car, goes into the net, and King right back in it. Down by 1 now. Oh, stuck in a rule 1 on the back wall, allows a shot to be taken. Now up towards the side, can't take over, instead it's Turbo. Down from the ceiling, cannot catch up. However, it is still held in by King. Pass off the back wall, shot and missed by Fire Raptor. Lucky on that one. Still possession from King, as now they have started to pick things up.
I mean, that was nuts. That was the crossbar deciding that goal did not deserve its time to shine. It keeps us at that 2-1 scoreline. We're officially entering the second half. King Tornado has been so close, but close only going to count in horseshoes and hand grenades, and neither of those being played in Rocket League. 220. KC Colts has a great lineup, but it's stolen away by Fire Raptor again. That clear downfield forces Matt into a redefense situation. Fire Raptor knocks it away again. Just a menace right now. Not even going for goals, just making sure that King Tornado cannot find any of their own.
And this is the play that Shawnee is working out so well, and it leads to a goal. Just playing keep away, not allowing King any possession at all. And finally, Matt with the whiff. And KC Colts not reading it, goes into the net from Fire Raptor, back to a 2-goal lead now for Shawnee.
I feel so justified. I really do, because every week I'm like, you know, you don't always have to score. It's about making sure the other team doesn't. And players are always calling me crazy. They say it's wild. They're going to try to score as many times as they can. But Shawnee right now, I think is giving us a masterclass on exactly what I always try to say. It's not about putting points on the board right now. It's literally about ensuring that King doesn't. And all of a sudden, you've tied things up 1-1. You're right back on the table, square footing with King Tornado, and they're a minute 41. They're 100 seconds away from being able to do that. And with the way they're playing, I think that's almost a guarantee at this point.
And the thing about this type of play style is if you get a little bit too conservative, obviously that can come back to bite you, because King's aggression might come back to, or that might be the thing that comes back to bite them. But with the way that Shawnee is playing, it feels like they are going for goals, but they aren't risking anything. They're being smart. They're keeping it away when necessary, not going for a dumb push-up, and it's working with only just over 60 seconds left. They have this 2-goal lead still keeping it out of the hands of King. Turbo desperation save attempt. Now it's a pass to Fire Raptor. Gets a 50 off the last man, and now it's down to 60 seconds left, and King is just struggling to get back to offense.
50 seconds left on the clock, 1 goal per 25. It's possible, but with the way Shawnee's been playing, it is improbable. We need nothing short of a miracle to find them, especially as Fire Raptor has been the hero of the series so far. Great offense, great defense, and everything in between, making it near impossible for King Tornado to plan much of anything. Fire Raptor, the name of the game, sneaks in again, passes it to Zayat, takes it into the far right corner. No follow-through from Shawnee, but again, I don't think they're worried about follow-through right now. They're just worried about where the ball is at, the ball's location. Oh, and it's exactly where they want it to be. Zayat finds that tap above to eliminate that possibility of goal. Fist guy with the slow burn knocks it in.
This is such a great game now from Shawnee. This win feels much more comfortable than
this feels
King's
more like
win.
Shawnee.
Yeah, this feels like the Shawnee team we watched in the early weeks of NACE. And obviously it's easy to say that Shawnee is more comfortable in this game with the bigger lead than King. But with the way that they controlled it, it felt much more in control than King in Game 1. Much more dominating victory here, picking them apart constantly. Like, look at this, Zayat just taking it off of his head, still getting a pass in the midfield. Matt does get to it, but it doesn't matter. You know, it's going to be a 4-1 victory for Shawnee State, unless Zayat has something in mind here. Looks like it will fall to the ground, but Shawnee with just an excellent Game 2 victory. This is the perfect response after that Game 1 loss.
Yeah, undoubtedly so. And I think kind of what we were looking at is the comfortability of winning the game. I think we saw more in the beginning of the game than actually by the end of it. We saw Shawnee come in, sink 2 points in 30 seconds, and all of a sudden they had just established that dominance. They never let it go. With King Tornado, it felt much more like they were climbing uphill the entire time. It felt like they were trying to punch through, trying to find that lead, and then keep it. Shawnee was fighting back every single time, but Shawnee, they found a lead here. They never dropped it, and they secured that second game, tying us up 1-1. Either one of these teams still needs 2 games to walk away victorious, so going into Game 3, it will put them on series point, but nobody's going to win the whole thing, at least not yet.
And I really feel like King is still easily within this match. You know, we saw Shawnee with the quick turnaround in Game 2, but we saw the way that King played in Game 1. It didn't feel like they were able to get to that aerial play as much. Shawnee was shutting it down basically at the start. There's nothing even allowed from King in the air. If they can find a way to get back to that, I think they're going to be able to pick apart Shawnee a little bit more. But if Shawnee keeps up this type of gameplay, I really think that Shawnee still has it in them to continue the domination like they just did in Game 2.
Without a doubt. The possibility is going to come off of the adaptation of King University. We saw, King won Game 1. It was Shawnee's turn to adapt. They did with flawless colors. Now the script has been flipped entirely. We're back to where King has to adapt, and how well they can do so will be shown right here in Game 3. The kickoff coming to fruition in this moment, and I cannot wait to see what adaptations are going to come through. Is it going to be aerial gameplay? Is it going to be a low burn? Is it going to be a slow burn? But right now, it's going to be playing defense, as already Shawnee is up close to that goal, forcing KC Colts to make a little bit of action. Matt taps it down. Zayat just doing Zayat things at this point. First goal on the board, 9 seconds.
This is such an aggressive play from Zayat. It puts everybody into the front half, but it works out to perfection. Completely catches King off guard. Another early goal from Shawnee. And you know how they did that in game number 2? They're going to keep going with it here in game 3. Still some more offense as they look to just pile it on. A slight pass across the goal line. This guy can't get to it. Instead now into the corner, Zayat up, can't get the touch there, but it makes Turbo awkward, allows Fire Raptor some space. He goes for the double, he gets the double in, and Shawnee with control still.
That is amazing. Fire Raptor. It's so fascinating because I can immediately kind of call back if there was somebody with far too much time to edit things. They could go through our previous VODs of Shawnee and hear me say a million times, Fire Raptor, that third man, that sneaky player, the strong defense. But today, I feel like we're getting a whole new script. Fire Raptor has felt like the driving force. It feels as if they have replaced Zayat in kind of this rotation, and I'm so excited to see that, Powder, because when we go back to game 1, what was the thing I said? I said, wow, it really feels like they're relying on Zayat. But Fire Raptor heard me, disagreed entirely, and has shown us why Shawnee is this incredible, terrifying, undefeated team.
And you know, I think that might have been their struggles in game 1. We just didn't see the full team coming out like we normally have from Shawnee. Now that everybody is here to play, and this guy playing a fantastic, honestly, third-man role, and nothing against that, it's just the way that Shawnee is working right now. Shawnee is in complete control against King, and now trying to get this one out. Can't do it. Shawnee with these challenges, just working out everything to keep offense on. Now Turbo dropping it down, finally gets offense back. Fire Raptor says no, gets it over 1, has Matt to beat, bumps him out of the way, just aggression all over the field. And Zayat looking for more as he goes for the midfield pass. Instead, it's Turbo carrying it out.
I can't break him. I keep doing that, like my ears perk up every time you say Matt, because like my brain is trying to tune in. We're not talking about me today. We're talking about the player. And right now, we're talking about Zayat again. Shawnee, they're up 3-0, 3:25 on the clock, and that double-edged sword I always talk about of scoring early usually only applies for 1 or 2 points. When you start to get to 3+, that's where it's like, who cares if you're scoring early, because you're up by a bunch.
Yeah, and King, they really need to kind of slow things down and clean things up. That goal there came from a whiff on the back line. Unfortunate, but you have to regain. You still have plenty of time. You have over 3 minutes left, so more than enough time to make the comeback in this game. But with the way that Shawnee is playing, it doesn't feel like they're going to allow that to happen. They need to get something going immediately, and it's not happening yet. They cannot find the control. Instead, it's Zayat with the double and off the defender and in the challenge again to perfection.
To perfection indeed, Powder. So much so that there's very little to say about this. Zayat just did it perfectly, read the defensive play, had the proper angle to bounce it right back into goal and make it pretty much impossible for King to prevent that goal. I would love to see from King Tornado perhaps a little bit more of a chase down on the ball, and once they find it, not to let it go as early. Also, that was a pretty rough reset from Matt. Centered the ball right in front of his own goal, which could be a very disastrous scenario to find yourself in. Zayat with ball control goes off the wall, gonna miss it. A huge opportunity for King to steal back momentum. Let's see what they can do in this pinch of a moment. Through into center field, a great pass up, but it goes too far to the right, and now King forced to reset all over again. Fire Raptor takes it high up and past KC Colts, and here comes Zayat towards what is currently an open goal.
The flip reset can't be used for much. Does result in more offense, though, and that's all Shawnee wants at this point. They will not allow King any space. It's Fire Raptor now. He can't get the challenge, and said Zayat will turn. Give it into Turbo, though. Now forward from Matt. Hard to the back wall, looking for the double down, and it's off. Zayat will take back over. King could have used that, but not finding it just yet. Another challenge out from Shawnee, and with 2 minutes left, this one really looking like it's going to go towards Shawnee. Despite all the time on the clock, I really haven't seen anything from King that tells me that they are going to be able to turn this around.
Yeah, I don't think I disagree in the slightest here, Powder. With only 150 left on the clock, that is not enough time to find the capitalizations that they need. Could they score 4 times in 100 seconds? Absolutely. I mean, that's 1 goal per 25 seconds, and that's a great way to kick it off. KC Colts puts that first one down. You've got now 100 seconds to find 3 goals, 33 seconds per goal. You've made that timer even larger, but it's still going to be difficult. That feels like a capitalization, an opportunity at the behest of Shawnee. It feels like they made a small mistake and it was capitalized on. I don't think they're going to make 3 more small mistakes like that. We need a change from King.
And it's tough to say what that change is, because right now Shawnee is they're doing anything they want, and King just can't catch up. It feels like that they're struggling speed-wise to keep up with Shawnee, but they're starting to find ways to do it. Off the kickoff, now it's KC in, just catching Shawnee a little bit off guard. You can see both players not sure who to go for, and instead they do double commit, but it works out for them. 4-2 now. King starting them out the comeback.
Starting them out the comeback, get those brooms out. Don't get them ready yet, but, you know, have them on standby just in case things continue to move in favor of King. Fiskai trying to determine a larger lead for Shawnee. Zayat with the secondary attempt, but instead of this cleared down the goal of Shawnee. Fiskai back into the corner. Fiskai versus Turbo. KC Colts with that slow rotation, that backflip to find momentum, and currently a great shot towards goal. Zayat falls off to the right. Matt there to catch it. Has a great setup if Fire Raptor were to capitalize. All momentum lost. Fire Raptor up. Fiskai not able to get there in time with only a minute left on the clock. 1 goal per 30 seconds. King has gotten danger close to giving us an underdog story here in Game 3, but as the clock continues to tick down, no third goal in sight. This is still, it's achievable, but it's difficult.
And, just off the post. I was going to say that one might do it. King still with an opportunity, but they've certainly slowed things down, and now just desperation passes. Fire Raptor in the passing lane, cutting it off. Goes for the ceiling. Now just keeping it out of the hands of King. Turbo forward does have a one-on-one opportunity. 2-on-1. Got a teammate on the right. Musty flick over and in, and suddenly King certainly within this.
Yeah, all right, King, point proven. I'm going to be honest, I was not a believer. When we were at 4-0, 2 minutes on the clock, I thought we were done so. I thought that was game over for King here in Game 3, but clearly they're the type of team to fight tooth and nail until the bitter end, and they're proving their weight worth in gold here. 24 seconds left. They've come so close to that comeback, but Powder, as we know, close only going to work in hand horse and shoe grenades, and right now, I don't know if we're going to be seeing any of that close turn into gold here in Game 3.
Do have the chance, but it's immediately taken away by Shawnee. But possession right back in their hands. Fiskai with the challenge there, right into KC Colts once more, into the air, giving it over to Matt, does beat one out. Now Turbo is there with control, but he allows it to hit the ground. He thought he had more time, and now instead, King Tornado down to their last possible game.
Down to the last possible game, indeed. They start strong in a Game 1. Shawnee dominates in Game 2 for a majority of Game 3, but then all of a sudden, King, in those final moments with their backs against the wall, their swan song yet to be sung, they come back, just cannot clutch it up, unfortunately, and they lose Game 3 as well. Powder, that's the bright side of a best of 5. They've got at least one more here to try and find some dominance, to try and find a game win and take us all the way to Game 5.
And you know, the end of that game gives me a lot of hope for King, because
I agree.
They were down 4-0. I was ready to count them out. Now, I even said that they were counted out of that game. They certainly brought things back, gave themselves enough time on the clock to try to get the final goal in. Just couldn't get it done. And the unfortunate thing is that I think if there was one more second on the clock, that's a goal. He had the control. It looked like he was going for one of those power shots where you shoot it the moment it hits the ground for the most possible power. And I don't think the back man catches up to it. So it's unfortunate from King, but they have to keep that in mind, that they were mere seconds away from tying up that game. It's obviously going to be difficult to win 2 in a row against a Shawnee team that has had control over the vast majority of the past 2 games, but King has it in them. They've got to find it now. They need these next 2 games.
Absolutely, and they're going to have a very small break to try and figure out what to do next. Maybe this will work out well for King. Maybe this will rip the momentum away from Shawnee. But either way, we got to give these players a break to use the restroom, get some water, do whatever they got to do. I suggest all of you do the same. But come right back here for some more NACE Star League Week 7 in just a couple of minutes. We'll see you soon. What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to NACE Star League Rocket League Week 7. Still Septilence and Powder here, and we're getting ready to jump into game number 4 of our first series here tonight, Shawnee State University versus King Tornado, and it has been quite the matchup so far.
It has been. You know, King had a good control over game 1. It wasn't anything too dominating, but it was obviously enough to get the win. After that, it's all been Shawnee, except for the very end of Game 3. King made it very interesting with a 3-goal comeback to bring it within 1, and was just mere seconds away from getting it tied up. So I'm very interested to see. Yeah.
Literally one more second could have done it.
And I'm very interested to see if King has it in them, especially after this break, to try to reset things and return to how they played in Game 1, because Shawnee didn't seem like everybody, not that they weren't ready to go, but they didn't have that team play like they did in games 2 and 3. And I think that's what allowed King more space to get that victory.
Without a doubt. I think that we kind of saw a big shift in both teams, where King started very strong on the team side, and then they had to kind of break into solo plays and individual moments to shine, and that seemed to work really well. They put 3 points on the board in just a couple of minutes, and almost the opposite issue happening for Shawnee State. They got a little bit complacent, perhaps. We were both very comfortable Shawnee was going to win that with a 4-0 lead. We can imagine the players felt the same way. A 4-0 lead is not something we see people come back from often, so maybe that was a little bit of compliance, a little bit of comfortability from Shawnee. That bit them in the butt a little bit, but not enough to seal the deal against them.
Yeah, we'll have to see in Shawnee. I think if they can go back to how they played early on especially in Game 3, when they had that 4-0 lead, this is their series to lose right now. Obviously a 1 game advantage in the overall series, but a lot more than that, because King is going to have to win 2 in a row. So if Shawnee just plays comfortable but not too comfortable, I think they're going to be perfectly fine, and they're going to get this done in 4.
I wholeheartedly agree. Shawnee, they lost game 1. It kind of lights a fire underneath them that we really haven't seen in a while. They dominate game 2. They win. Dominate for most of game 3. It gets a little sloppy at the end, but a win is a win regardless. And here comes a possible goal. A great block out by Turbo, keeping us at that 0-0 score line. A secondary attempt from Fiskai is going to fall a wee bit short, but it's not going to cost anybody much yet. Matt with the hard rush down towards center field, knocked away by Fire Raptor. Up to Turbo to try to get this out of his own back half, but Zayat is there to keep it, peppering down on the defense of King Tornado.
Still with control is Shawnee. King not allowed much early on in this game 4. Finally, Turbo with a powerful clear, looking to follow it himself, beats it off of Zayat there, now into the corner from Fire Raptor. Turbo into the midfield, opportunity to be found, but Casey Cole's interesting into the corner. He gives it away to Zayat, but now he gives it away to Matt, as now King has held it in for a few seconds, but not having found much. Instead, it's Fire Raptor out. Beats out 1, Zayat racing towards it, so is Matt. He gets there first, and he gets the boost steal. Important now, Zayat not a lot left, and he gets beaten out by Matt again. King goes back the other way, a little bit of back and forth, and Shawnee not with that same control we saw earlier on in the series.
Oh, a great defensive play from Matt into Turbo. Oh, the goal could have been there, but it's not going to be there enough, as Fire Raptor will steal away ball control and momentum. There's the setup. Where's the follow-through? There's the follow-through. Fiskai puts that first point down on the board. Powder, that took nearly 2 minutes.
Yeah, in games 2 and 3, we saw kickoff goals from Shawnee, and yeah, not nearly taking them 2 minutes to get it home, but they do finally do it. Now, 3:16 left, King with plenty of time left. Of course, this game again brought to you by Extra Life. Remember to join the Super Team page today. Give them your support. And right now, King needs a lot of support on the back line. Not a lot to be found. Feels like Shawnee has been picking them apart this entire series. And now a miss from 1. Turbo beaten out as well, giving Shawnee more possession. Matt, though, a quick beat, and now nobody home. And Matt, just like that, turns things around and gets it tied up.
That was a huge goal. Fiskai had the ball control, had momentum. Matt just snatches it away past all 3 members of Shawnee and sinks it in for that 1-1 tie-up. Just shy of halftime. 2:54 on the clock, which is 2 minutes off the clock. 2 points on the board. 6 players left fighting for that Game 4 victory. Could King turn this around and take us all the way to a Game 5? Absolutely not a doubt in my mind. But Shawnee, if they play like they did back in Game 2 and 3, this is going to be a tough one to come back from.
Casey with an opportunity looking to the back line. A slight miss by Fiskai. Actually, he's the one to get the full clear out. Now it's into the corner. Matt attempting to do anything he can to get at midfield. He'll turn around on it now and leave it for KC Cole's pass over to Turbo. Looking for a bump or a shot. Can't find either. Now Matt, aggressive challenge, looking to the back wall. Zayat there in time, getting the stop, and King, their offense is looking a lot more confident than they had in the previous 2 games. Still not a ton to be found, not as much as they found in game 1, but it's certainly telling about how they turn things around after nearly coming back. Shawnee, though, still with the pressure. Shot is put away. Now KC will attempt to get it out.
2 minutes remaining, 1 minute 20 on the board. Still at that 1-1. There's a very real chance this could go to an overtime. Every game we've seen so far has had that possibility. Last one in particular, a 4-3 win. 1 second away from being that 4-4, forcing an overtime, but that 1 second simply was not in favor of King Tornado. Shawnee State now has 100 seconds to put something down to win the series, but if King Tornado can find even 1 goal of their own, they can take a lead, they can force a game 5.
Still holding this offense with 90 seconds left as well. Towards the corner now, Zayat going again, fakes it. This guy can't really get the turn in time. Said it's a long clear now for King. Fire Raptor in the hands of Matt. He goes up. He's got plenty of boost to work with. Slow to the ground now. Trying to fake out the defense. He gets 2 to bite. Turbo now with control. Can't get a bump. Double commit from Shawnee. They're starting to panic, but the clear is still found. Matt, desperation attempt into the hands of Zayat again. KC Colts doing what he can, putting it toward the corner. And now Fiskai again. Oh, he loses control a little bit. He will dish it to the midfield. Pushed away by Turbo, however. Less than 60 seconds left. Both of these teams looking a little bit panicky. Not quite the teams that we did see early on, trying anything they can to get this victory. Now it's Shawnee's opportunity. Quickly back into the hands of King, however.
I think you nailed it entirely. These are 2 teams panicking because everybody knows that next goal could be the last here of Game 4. It could be the last of the series if it is found on the side of Shawnee. But King Tornado, they do not want to go down without a fight. They want to go out with a bang instead of a whimper, but the clock is ticking against them. 30 seconds remain. 1 goal for either side could be the deal breaker, and Turbo is going to be the one to find it. I've got to say, Shawnee, they've got to be beating themselves up after that because check this out. The touch is from Zayat. It's a perfect setup to get dunked on by his opponents. He cannot find the defensive play in time, and that gives King Tornado the lead. That's huge, Turbo. This could be the moment for this team to succeed. Powder, 23 seconds left. Shawnee needs to pull a rabbit out of a hat, but instead they are getting dunked on again. Turbo is unstoppable. 3-1, 22 seconds remain.
It felt like Shawnee got a little bit desperate off this kickoff. That is an aggressive cheat from Fire Raptor. He's much too quick to it. Now nobody left after Turbo beats them out. 3-1 now, King. Technically a chance for Shawnee to come back, but they need a kickoff goal, and it's right into the hands of King. A perfectly played kickoff. They need 3. It's off the crossbar and in. King, what a turnaround from them. Ready to send it to Champions Field.
Holy cow. I mean, this is incredible. King has, okay, not even King, Turbo has just woken up. This has been a massacre in favor of King Tornado, and of course, they are going to take us all the way to that coveted Game 5.
We'll have to see how Shawnee can get anything back for themselves in the final seconds. Maybe a goal. No, Fiskai actually keeps it away from Fire Raptor. Still an opportunity to be found, but it's not going to matter. King, we were tied with less than 60 seconds left. Actually, with 25 seconds left is when that second goal got on the board for King. A complete turnaround late in the game. They dominate Shawnee late. And now Shawnee with a lot to go over in between games 4 and 5.
Undoubtedly so. And we're not going to have another break between games 4 and 5. We're going to jump right back into this one. So Shawnee almost at a bit of a deficit to where King was, because King had those extra couple of minutes to talk about what was going to be coming up next, who they wanted to focus on, what they wanted to do in game 5. But, I mean, this is incredible. We're at the 30 seconds remaining. That's the second point of what would be 4. That was all so fast. I'm still hardly fathoming exactly what we just saw, but Turbo in particular on the side of King Tornado, just a dominant performance, led the team to victory. Can they do it one more time? Can they give Shawnee their first loss of the season? And that same question gets flipped. Both these teams are undefeated right now, Powder. So we are going to see a lot of this tonight. Somebody has to break someone else's record.
Right, and another important thing for context is that according to the schedule, both of these teams have one more match later on tonight. Because remember, we do have this double header this week with the bye week last week. So both of these teams, I would assume, are going to follow up this match with their very last match of the season. Looking like King will play the George Mason Patriots, and for Shawnee State, headed up right here, they played Maryland Terps. So again, nothing is guaranteed here. You aren't necessarily guaranteed the number 1 seed from winning, But one thing I can tell you is that you have no chance at getting the #1 seed if you cannot win tonight. You want to get straight into the conference playoffs. You do not want to have to go to that qualifier to get yourself in.
No way!
To this, and an awkward kickoff off the start works in favor of King as it's now on their half, taking it slow as KC Colts, playing it off to the side, but Fire Raptor right back the other way now.
Turbo has to catch a defensive play here. Matt with a disc touch. It's going to be a weird disconnect. Fist Guy steals ball control. KC Colts snatches it away once again. Already, I mean, we're only 30 seconds into this matchup, and all of a sudden it feels very much like a game one. Nobody finds that early goal. Nobody finds that early dominance, but it will be KC Colts, make me eat my words, live on stream.
Similar start to game one now. The control from King, and the first goal goes to them. Not the position that the defense wants to be in, looking a little bit panicky as they try to save it on the back line. Can't get it done. 28 seconds in, King has their lead. We'll see how Shawnee responds. It's a challenge from Fire Raptor to get offense going, but Zayat is too slow. Turbo with control loses it. He was the one that took over late for King in game 4 to get themselves the win. An awkward play off of a bump, but Fire Raptor doesn't have boost to catch up. Instead, it's Matt with control and boost off the ground and in. The flip reset works out. 2-0 for King.
That was just devious. I mean, Matt finds it, threads the needle, and seals the deal through Zayat and Fist Guy to put King up 2-0. Powder, we've still got 4 minutes and 11 seconds left on the clock, but if this narrative continues in the way it currently is, we will watch Shawnee's first series loss happen right here tonight. They need to give us the turnaround of a lifetime. We need game 2 Shawnee to reappear, or things are starting to look bleak.
And that was a goal that they needed. The demolition opening things up, and they get it immediately. Great job of taking advantage after what I thought should have been a quick goal. Fire Raptor might have been able to make the turn, but you know what? Doesn't matter. Makes the turn there, and the demolition opening things up. Just over a minute in, they cut the lead down in half, and Shawnee looking a little bit better. That might give them the confidence that they need.
It really might. That one point on the board suddenly takes away the safety net that King may have felt they had. 2-0 is a pretty safe place to be when there's, maybe a minute left on the clock, but as we've been shown, somebody can score 3 times in 20 seconds, and it can tear your entire story apart. So King, they want to put a couple more points on the board, especially now that Shawnee has found their footing for 1. Nope, let's make it 2. Oh, no, wait, let's not! Let's make it 1 again! Oh, Powder, that might be a series-ending whiff!
That is painful if you're a Shawnee fan, and it's one of those plays that you can't really help. Like, yeah, you can get the first shot in, but it's a tough angle to work with. You have the player challenging in, and then the read off the crossbar I knew instantly was going to be an awkward one, and they can't find it. Still, though, they have time. They have to regain quickly, and it looks like they have. They've been holding the offense since that moment. Now, opportunity, Zayat beaten out. Maybe working in favor, but nobody pushing up as that second man. Now instead it's KC Colts for the back wall. Instead Fire Raptor gaining control, pushes it out. Turbo right into the hands of Zayat, trying to get control again. Can't do it. It's Fire Raptor. Zayat on the turn. Can't get anything done. Instead it's back into the hands of King and back the other way for him.
2:45, we are getting danger close to entering the second half, and Shawnee still finds themselves down, albeit by a single point. Fire Raptor has a great defense. There was not a double commit, which gave Fist Guy the opportunity to get in there, try to steal momentum away, whips the shot. Fire Raptor goes up and is sunk right back down, and Turbo sneaks in point number 3. 2:31 on the clock, and King Tornado looking good to dethrone Shawnee.
Zayat, you can tell he trusted Fire Raptor to get the read. He turns back immediately, but because he trusted the air dribble there, he can't get back in time, and King right back up to a 2-goal lead at halftime. Shawnee, again, a lot to fight back from. They need to do it quickly. They need as much time on the board while they make this comeback as possible. Otherwise, King will complete the 2-goal comeback for the victory. Fire Raptor beating one out there. It's Matt, though, gaining control, slow playing it, looking for the pinch. Gives it into Zayat, though. In the corner again. Turbo on the dribble, beats out 2. Fire Raptor forced to turn back, and Shawnee just does not look like the same team from earlier on. It looks like King has completely turned things around, but still there is this time with this offense that Shawnee has.
King has begun to dismantle this team at their very core. And let's be honest, Shawnee's going to have to give us their best King Tornado impression. They're going to have to give us their best Turbo impression to put 3 points on the board in 100 seconds. Turbo did it in 20. They've got 5 times the amount of time that Turbo did to almost clutch that game out earlier. And we need that exact same energy from Shawnee right here, right now. Fire Raptor goes for the setup. Fist Guy there to catch it at the 2v2 into the far left corner. Turbo steals it, snatches it downfield into center field. The touch coming in from Matt. Where's the follow through? It's a rough touch, and it's stolen away by Fire Raptor once again. Currently nobody home on the side of King Tornado. You've got to steal the deal, and Zayat does just that. All of a sudden, this is doable for Shawnee once again. 80 seconds left on the clock.
One of those plays that makes me a little bit nervous when the ball is about to land near the wall. It makes it a tougher read, but they get it done perfectly. In from Shawnee, 1:22 on the clock, looking for the last goal to complete the comeback and at least get it tied up to possibly send it to overtime. Zayat aggressive straight into the net, catching King off guard. We're immediately tied up.
Just blink and you miss it, folks. Immediately tied up. I said we needed our best King Tornado impression. Zayat said, all right, heard, and immediately started putting every single point available down. Now, 77 seconds left on the clock. That lucky number 7 making an appearance. Let's see which team needs that luck just a little bit more. A demolition from Fist Guy leaves the goal wide open, but Turbo is there to steal it down. Zayat puts it up high. Nobody is there to catch it, and all of a sudden, Shawnee has flipped the script in its entirety. We are staring at a 4-3 scoreline. Shawnee in the lead for the first time this game.
What a turnaround for Shawnee. And this one, an unfortunate matter of the demolition. I think it blinded Turbo a little bit. He didn't see it, Zayat coming in from the corner, and Zayat does not hesitate. Knocks it straight into the net. There are 65 seconds on the clock, and suddenly we are needing another King turnaround. The challenge will get it started, but can't get it completed yet. It's Turbo, back wall, but instead it's Zayat taking advantage again. Long clear to the other side. Turbo now looking for whatever he can. Casey Colt's on the quick turn. It's Matt taking over. Open net, but Zayat gets there in time. He makes the stop, and now King back to the drawing board with time running out.
And King, they have been in this exact position. They think they've heard this song before, and they did not like the ending. They've got 35 seconds left here on the clock. They're still down by a single point. Fist Guy trying to make it 2. Oh, and he pulls just a little short. The crossbar has decided that fancy goal is not making it in today. A messy pass right into KC Colts. Could that be enough for King to seal the deal? Zayat there playing that hard defense, making it near impossible for King to even get near the goal. They would need a coast-to-coast to break even here in that 4-4 and force an overtime.
The double commit, though, might come back to bite him. It's a 2-on-1 the other way. Turbo, can he hook around on it? He gets this challenge successfully. Matt on the turn. Shot is put away. Still an opportunity as it's into the corner. KC Colts needing to play this up. Plays it in the midfield. No one home. It's killed, and Shawnee completes the turnaround and wins out to win the series. I cannot believe that Shawnee got that done. It felt like King had this in the bag.
It felt nearly impossible for so much of that, but somehow Shawnee clutches it out in the most crucial of moments to secure a victory in their favor. 3-2, one of the closest series we have seen in a really long time, because not only did it go to Game 5, but it was a separation of 1 point. The second game of the series, that was a separation of 1 point. That was, I mean, I don't think we could have had a better way to kick off the evening.
No, we definitely couldn't have. The perfect start to it all. And Shawnee, I mean, we saw 2 comebacks from each team. You know, King couldn't get it done, but they were so close that it was impressive nonetheless. And it really fueled them towards that Game 4 victory. But Shawnee woke up late there in Game 5. The aggression took over, and that really caught King off guard. They were not expecting, out of quite literally nowhere in the middle of the game, for Shawnee to pick up that way and completely dominate the rest of the game.
And thinking back to like all the times we've seen Shawnee win, I'm thinking that usually it was a lot more dominant than this. We kind of got to ask, oh, how did the win feel, etc., etc. But as we jump into this interview, I'm really excited because we finally get to ask, like, what happened out there? How did you clutch out that win? How did it turn into a Game 5 1-point difference from the Shawnee that we know and love? I think this is going to be great to hear from one of the players because, as I say every week, we can only assume so much. We can only create so much of a narrative here on the desk. Only the people that were truly in the game know what was happening in that moment-by-moment scenario, in that play-by-play situation, and I can't wait to see, you know, were all these goals intentional? Was it cool, calm, and collected? Was it a stroke of luck that gave them this victory at the end of the day? But, you know, whatever comes out of that, Shawnee, they remain undefeated 6-0, and unfortunately, King Tornado, they fall 5-1.
And again, with not the guaranteed number 1 seed for Shawnee, they still do have that one remaining match However, that obviously puts them in the best position possible. I think they can only tie for the first seed. At that point, it goes down to a tiebreaker. I'm really excited to see how the matches later tonight turn out for these teams because, again, nothing's necessarily guaranteed, and we do have our player ready for the interview, and we'll bring them on in. And Semblance, you can take back over, but I mean, what a match we have this guy tonight.
We've got Fist Guy with us. So Fist Guy, first question, not even a real question. How the heck do you feel? That is the closest we have seen you guys come to a loss ever.
Oh man, I mean, nothing bad about King, but it should not have been that close, and yeah, my heart was pumping. But yeah, that was wild.
Yeah, so I definitely want to go back and talk about, I think it was game 3. You guys were up 4-0. You blink, and it's 4-3. So what was happening in comms in that situation? What were you guys kind of looking like in that, oh my goodness, we might actually lose this?
Okay, I'm not going to lie. I literally calmed to them. I'm going to be ball chasing because I want to get my points up. So that might have had a little bit to do with that. But as soon as I saw it get to 4-3, I was like, all right, let's just get into mode. And yeah, we just got it out there.
And what did you guys talk about between games 1 and 2 and then games 4 and 5? Because both of them were pretty well controlled by King. You know, they weren't dominating by any means, but they certainly controlled it. And both were turned around by pretty hardcore victories from you guys. You know, game 5 was pretty close, but it felt like you guys had the majority of it. So what were you guys going over to try to turn things around?
Yeah, so luckily we do have Fire Raptor, which was a former coach and sub for a pro team. So he told us exactly what we needed to do and how to do it. So fortunately we had that, and he was just like, collect small boost pads, just make sure you keep it with you. Solo plays are going to be really good against this team. So I made sure that me and Zayat had that under wraps, and it went pretty well.
And according to the schedule, you guys have one match left later tonight unless it's been rescheduled. How are you guys feeling knowing that if you win that, you clinch the #1 seed? You know, part of our storyline was this is very likely the match for the #1 seed, not guaranteed. So how are you guys feeling? Do you feel like you're going to clinch that later tonight?
Yeah, I feel like we have a really good shot against the team we're going to play. And yeah, fortunately, we haven't been as well as we should have in NACE for the past years. Like when it first started, we got top 4, and that was it. That was like before it was really big, but now we have a good roster, and I'm excited to hopefully play in the playoffs and have a really good shot.
Yeah, absolutely. Y'all keep playing like this. A good shot is absolutely on the table. But this guy, one more question just before we let you go. Is there anybody you would like to give a thank you or a shout out to while you're here with us?
I'd like to say thank you to my dad. He always watches these streams, and he's always wanted me to interview on here. Shout out to you guys, because you guys do a really good job of casting, honestly. I always see you guys on here.
Thank you. Awesome. And well, we really appreciate it. And a huge congrats. Best of luck in your game, Linder, because like Powder said, you clutched that out. You clutch out #1 seed, so we'll be waiting to hear about how that one goes.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's been good to talk.
Absolutely. And with that, folks, we are going to throw it to a super short break. We've got match #2 coming up in a minute. A team we have seen before, University of Missouri Columbia, who is currently 4-0 against Kansas State University, who I don't think we have seen, who is 5-0. So that'll be one heck of a series coming at you in just a couple of minutes. Don't go far. What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to NACE Star League Week 7. We've got Series number 2 getting ready to go underway. Series number 1 going all the way to Game 5. It was a pretty amazing situation to see Shawnee, the closest they've ever come, at least on stream, to losing, but they still clutch out that victory now. Powder, the same story, different schools. 2 undefeated teams going head-to-head. One of them we've seen, University of Missouri Columbia. The other one, not so much, Kansas State University. But clearly, a team to be, a force to be reckoned with, sitting at 5-0.
I'm curious to see how this Kansas State University team plays. This is a roster I've not gotten to see before. Obviously, we've seen Mizzou. They played Cleary earlier on in the season, and they're one of those top teams in collegiate. Once again, they've proved it again. They made CRL once more. Crims Whale and Excelst versus Red Yeti and Kezi Shishi out of Kansas State. And again, I haven't seen that roster before. I'm very curious to see how they fare against Mizzou. Obviously, that 5-0 record is there for a reason. I'm excited to see if they may take down a top dog in collegiate for a very long time.
And we're in one of those really cool situations again where somebody ruined somebody's score. Someone ruined somebody's record. We've got 2 untouched behemoths to this point. Somebody has to fall into that game 1. And Powder, I'll be honest, we both, and I'll speak for myself here, we both went for the prediction of Missouri Columbia, and I'll say it was a recency bias for me. It's because I've seen this team stomp on people. But it's like, if you look at statistics, you look at the other team 5-0, they've gone even further beyond what Missouri has brought to the table so far. They've won an additional game, so it's like, I think both these teams are unbelievably capable of winning this series.
They certainly are. Again, I do have to give that edge to Mizzou. This is a team who they know how to compete at that top level.
Yes.
We'll say it again. Kansas State, it's not that they don't, but Mizzou has so much more experience with it that I feel like now that we're at the end where the top dogs face against each other, I feel like Mizzou just has that edge here tonight.
Without a doubt. And as we are getting ready to jump into map number 1, it's Manfield. Surprise to absolutely nobody. But it is Rocket League, and that's what we're all here to watch. So it is very exciting. Mizzou versus Kansas State, undefeated through and through. Somebody's got to fall. One of the Goliaths has to turn into a David to retake that position as Goliath. You guys get what's going on. You guys understand. But I am just unbelievably excited to see what is going to happen in the early stages, such as the game 1, because I have no idea if these teams have faced each other before.
Right, and to keep into context as we head into this series, Kansas State University, the reason why they are 5-0 is because they have finished out the remainder of their games. Nothing left, while Mizzou has one more after tonight. So if Mizzou wins this, they're not guaranteed the number 1 seed. They've got to get one more victory, but Kansas State, it really is in their hands. If they get this win, they clinch the number 1 seed in their division. They are aiming for that. You want that straight shot into the conference championships. Mizzou, though, with an early start as Excelst puts it in. Early
Mizzou
goal,
moment.
28 seconds.
Excelst puts it in quick, and that is the exact thing I wanted to look out for. Which one of these teams found a goal in 6 seconds? Which one of these teams took an early established dominance just like that? And to the surprise of nobody, of course it's Mizzou, because this is how they continue to work. This is what they continue to play, and every time we've seen them, it has been them large and in charge for 15 minutes, and then we go on to the next series. So it is up to Kansas State to rewrite that narrative here today.
Now they finally get an opportunity on offense as it's one out now by Kezi. Whale will take over a miss from Red, allowing a little bit of space to Mizzou. Successful challenge from Crims right into the hands of Kezi again. Double tap, crossbarred out, unfortunate, but they got to go back quickly to it. It's a turn from Yeti to keep the offense on. And Kansas State, despite not coming away with it, I like the setup there, just not able to get it down and in off the double.
Minute off the clock already. Here comes a little bit more action in the back third of Mizzou. Yeti takes it up high in a 2v1, and it's Whale who sneaks out with the ball control into mid, goes past one defender, not quite able to make it past Red, and that will shake things up in momentum. No, just kidding! Mizzou steals it back. Crims takes it high.
No.
Excelst knocks it low, but too far off to the side. They cannot find the clean goal and put that second point on the board. We are still rocking at the 1-0. Here's a secondary attempt. Falls short again. That's 3 tries in a row. Mizzou not able to put that ball on.
Out into open space, works out for Excelst, beats one out. Crims going straight for it. He'll gain control. Can't go underneath one. Excelst taking over again. Oh, that's actually just it. I thought it was wide, but no one home for Kansas State. They are struggling to find a way to shut down this Mizzou offense.
not able to shut down that Mizzou offense at all. I mean, they just play that classic play style that I always want to see. I mean, it's just that constant peppering down. If you continue to slam into goal, they're going to miss one of those shots. If you keep it in the back third as consistently and effectively as possible, they are eventually going to slip. It is near impossible to block out every single shot, and I think Mizzou knows that. I think that is their intended play style. Already up 2-0, 3 minutes left on the clock.
Close opportunity there. Midfield pass was there, but the shot was put away. Now almost given away. Crims will place it out and into completely wide open space. Yeti's there first. A flick up, almost into the hands of Mizzou, and it actually is. Not the type of play that Kansas State wants. They just keep giving possession away. The stop is made from Yeti. Desperation save will give it back into the hands of Mizzou. A double commit, however, taking it off their heads. It's Yeti. With no boost in the corner, can't dish it out just yet. Does steal the boost, now he's up for it. Looking to drop it down off the double, put out to the side. And it's Kezi on the turn, placed wide. Crims, he'll gain it now. Take it off of his head by Excels, powerfully into the corner. A little bit of back and forth we go now as Mizzou just kind of satisfied to play this little bit of slow play style and just hold the possession.
It could be all about possession for these remaining 2 minutes, and if Mizzou wants to slow it down, they want to change that pace of game, they could absolutely do so. It's all about making sure Kansas doesn't put any points on the board. Any additional points for Mizzou here may just be nails in the coffin. 1:55 on the clock, and Red, it steals ball control, knocks it into the far right corner, has a sloppy connect with no boost in the lineup, but where's the follow-through? Yeti also had little to no boost, was not able to capitalize in that moment. Here's a very slow second try that is also going to miss. Here's a third try, but it's the fourth try that finally breaks through, Powder.
Yeah, a lot of slow play here. Yeti does get bit off of the fake, and Whale a little too aggressive. An interesting push because Crims was now the last man starting to rotate back, but he can't get there in time. Kansas State finds themselves onto the board with plenty of time left to get one more, but we'll have to see if that same Mizzou roster comes out. That is so much offense. They look for a chance there, can't get it. Instead, it's Red into the offensive half for Kansas State. A dribble to the other side from Crims. It's Whale going up for it. Still with space, not a lot of boost left. He can't get the pinch down to the midfield, beaten out by Yeti, but he only can give it away to Crims again. Kansas State, a little bit of their struggles has been from these kind of desperation clears. They go right into the hands of Mizzou. Excel's doing anything possible to slow down. Can't get it done. Less than 60 seconds left now. It's back the other way as Red gives it away one more time. Excel's looking for the redirect, doesn't find it. Instead, it's off to the corner now from Kansas State.
Off the corner, 47 seconds remain. Mizzou up by 1, but as we learned 5 times in a row last series, winning by 1 point is absolutely still winning. Excels finds a great knockdown, just burning every possible second from Kansas, because the second that ball goes into goal, we're tied up. That's an overtime, and that's suddenly a game that Mizzou can lose. Okay, just barely in off the bottom right corner, and is not going to find purchase in goal. 25 seconds remain. Clearing it down like this, the coast-to-coast could be huge, because right now Mizzou, they just want to burn down this timer.
They are very happy to, and they're very happy to take one for the road as well. 3-1 lead will almost certainly secure things here in Game 1. Wasn't absolutely dominating from Mizzou by any means, not like what we've seen before or seen in the previous series, but a very comfortable win for Mizzou. It didn't feel like Kansas State really had that many chances to get the goal. The only one that they got was off of a little bit of a misplay from Missouri. So a great game here will get them the Game 1 victory, as Kansas State will try to get anything they can for the road. But either way, good win here from Mizzou, looking very comfortable, and that is dangerous if you're Kansas State, because if Mizzou starts to ramp things up, if they can feel that pressure and they start to speed up like we know that they can, Kansas State is in for it in this series.
Without a doubt. I think Mizzou is very much a momentum-based team. The second you give them the time to strike, they're going to capitalize on it through and through, and I wouldn't expect anything less. I mean, it's so weird to say this against another undefeated team, but no teams are undefeated on accident. You know, you've got to earn that. You've got to work for those victories, and Mizzou, they are not the type of team, no offense to Shawnee, because they are amazing as well, but we saw them slip pretty aggressively today. Things that are a lot closer than I think we ever expected. I don't suspect to see that same thing with Mizzou. This is a team that was dominant, will be dominant, and, you know, is currently dominant in this series.
And what's interesting is that from what I'm seeing, it looks like that might be Kansas State's first game loss of this season. Of course, they had, it looks like in their own league, they may have had a forfeit victory, but besides that, it's looking like it was all 3-0 victories. Kansas State in some unfamiliar territory as Mizzou, you know, that's kind of expected when you go against Mizzou. So it's nothing that's too hard for Kansas State, I'm sure.
Right.
But it's something different to find themselves down in the series, especially after game one. It's something they're going to have to turn things around. It didn't feel like Mizzou was giving them any space to work with. That's something that Kansas State might have to figure out how to open up maybe some demolitions. You know, we haven't brought it up yet today. The demolition play might work in favor for Kansas State tonight.
Yeah, and this feels like such a good time to bring up what I always bring up when we see a team lose for the first time. Is this going to light a fire underneath Kansas State like we have never seen before? Like you said, we don't think they've ever lost a game up to this point. All of a sudden, they're down 1-0 for the first time in 7 weeks. In 6 matches, they are suddenly down 0-1. You've got to wonder, is that going to light a fire underneath them entirely? Or, you know, the antithesis of that, is it going to crush their mental, cause them to fumble and slip a little bit? Only time and these players know the answer to that. We're going to have to watch and find out. Crims with the great ball control up into center field. Red with the disconnect, knocks it back towards center field. Oh, that's got to be in, and the crossbar has decided otherwise. Red clears it down and away. That should have been a free goal from Mizzou, but it falls too little, too short, and now a secondary attempt will find purchasing goal. Mizzou already up 1-0.
Great aggressive play here from Mizzou. Crims aggressive for 2 challenges in a row, and then he speeds towards it to beat out Yeti. Kansas State has to watch out for that. This is the speed and the aggression we were referring to earlier. Mizzou can bring it out when they want, and if Kansas State is not careful, is going to come back to bite them. A misflip here will give Kansas State an opportunity that they have to take advantage of, especially after the miss from Crims. A quick 2-on-1 down the field turns into a normal offensive possession for Kansas State. Shot is wide. Now it's suddenly Mizzou possession as Whale back the other way, saved away. Kansas State got to go right back to it.
Back to square one here, and a demolition is going to help out just a bit. Mizzou gets the ball up and off the left side of the field, going to be stolen away in just that very same breath. Excelis tries to find a moment to strike, might have to go up and over one defender, but it is snatched away in the blink of an eye. A great attempt, but not going to be able to cut it in a high-caliber situation like this one. Oh my goodness, off the inside of the goal, but just could not cross that goal line in its entirety. Somehow, Mizzou thinking they're lucky stars on that one.
Kansas State wants that one back. Red, it is a very tough angle to work with when you're using the back end of your car to try to find the angle.
Right.
They can't get it done that time. They still do have plenty of time, though, as not even 90 seconds having gone by. Grims, though, with the possession, gives it away to Excelsis on the pre-jump. Down off the crossbar, saved away by Red. It'll be a 2-on-1 down the field. 2 went for the offense, but Whale aggressive again. Again, this Mizzou aggression just working out in bunches for Mizzou. Off the crossbar, Whale with the read. He'll only be able to double this down for a pass. Who's there? Instead, it's just Yeti. But Crims will keep the offense going one more time for Missouri.
2 minutes just now getting around the off-the-clock situation, so we've got 1-0 on the board. And Powder, this currently shaping up to be one of our lowest scoring series of the season. We've seen quite a few games kind of won out by a 1-0, but Game 1, not super high scoring. Game 2, currently meeting that same caliber, and I think that just goes to show how neck and neck these undefeated teams are. When you get to the top, the only people you see are the other folks at the top, and right now, Mizzou and Kansas going toe-to-toe, wheel-to-wheel, bumper-to-bumper, whatever you want to say, but they are going as close could be. A 1-point differential. Kansas has a great opportunity to steal it away, keep it at that 1-0. The second attempt, though, who's ready? Nobody was there to catch it in time. Mizzou, they go up 2-0. We are just getting ready to enter that halftime.
This offensive set doesn't start with the passing from Mizzou. That's been another reason they've had complete control over Kansas State. We saw the pass for a clear out, and then we saw the pass into the midfield to really set up the offense. Kansas State has not been able to find a way to shut down that passing, and because of it, Missouri in complete control, 2-0 now at halftime. Maybe one to be found here from Kansas State, a fake on the back line, but the shot is wide. And once more, back to the drawing board from Kansas State, just struggling to find a way to break down this Missouri defense.
Trying to find any iota of hope, trying to break down this Missouri defense, like you said. Here's an opportunity for them to gain ball control, gain a little bit of momentum, but instead it's going to be snatched away just as fast. A moment comes in off the far left corner. The disconnect from Mizzou is huge. Yeti tries to clear it into center field, able to do so well. Knocks it up and over the goal, goes right through Red, but nobody is there in that corner to catch it.
Mizzou aggressive again, shot put away. Whale with all the time in the world, actually Excelsis just rotate right by him. This Mizzou just happy to waste time here. They know they have this control. They know that this, honestly, that this series is theirs. With the way that they've controlled the first now 9.5 minutes of Rocket League,
Right.
they know it's really their series to lose. Kansas State has to make a complete turnaround and completely change their gameplay to try to win this series, and we just haven't seen it from them so far, and Mizzou is just happy to play comfortable up to this point. Not going to rush things, not going to go over-aggressive, but we know that they can pull that out when they want. They'll go for an air shot here. Excel's bumped off the play. Still an opportunity to be found. Kansas State, that back line just suspect up to this point. It's slow to get to it, and because of it, they're slow for the clear.
Slow for the clear, and that may be the very thing that bites them in the butt towards the end of this series. Whale finds a great shot. Is there going to be a follow-up? Instead, kind of passes it right down into Yeti, who was ready to catch that ball in the blink of an eye. 40 seconds remaining. Mizzou, like you said, they have felt dominant for the past 9.5 minutes. Let's see if they can seal out a full 10 and win 2 games back-to-back. That'll put them 1 game, a hypothetical single goal away from being able to win this series out quick.
Kansas State only 1 goal on the board in this series up to this point. It's been a struggle on offense for them as they really haven't been allowed anything on offense. Mizzou, again, with that control, is not allowing anything into their hands. Maybe they can find one in the final 10 seconds. You know, if they can, it's not necessarily over, but that demolition will about end things here. Mizzou will go on to match point as, again, the complete domination against Kansas State. And if I'm Kansas State, I'm taking this full minute to talk things over because it's tough here. Mizzou hasn't necessarily dominated them because it's been a low-scoring affair, but with the way that they have been playing, they are confident, and they need to find a way to destroy that confidence.
Yeah, absolutely. It feels like Kansas State's offense is good, but Missouri's defense is just a little bit better, and that little bit has prevented several goals on the side of Kansas and kind of bites them in the butt immediately, time after time after time. So if they can find a way to disrupt this defense even a little bit, even once, there could be that capitalization we need. There's that open goal where Yeti just was not ready to catch it. Excel finds a huge opening play to seal the deal, give his team a guaranteed victory in those moments. And now, I mean, we've got 5 more minutes, Powder. We need a complete and total turnaround from Kansas, or they're going to put their first serious loss on the board. First game loss twice in a row. They do not want to make that 3. They want to start that comeback right here, right now.
And I'll be completely honest, I'm not sure if Kansas State's going to be able to do it. The way that Missouri has played has been, and I don't mean to keep reusing the word, but it's been controlling. They have not allowed Kansas State space. They haven't allowed them offense. When it gets back onto the defensive end for Missouri, their defensive end, they really just regain the possession, go back the other way, and just play keep away from Kansas State. There hasn't been anything that's really told me that Kansas State can bring this one back. I mean, maybe they can make it close, and maybe they can get a game off of Mizzou right here. But more than likely, I've got Mizzou again with a full-on sweep as they look to get that #1 seed.
And we know what a lethal game that keep away can be. And if Mizzou continues to play that, like you said, they can knock KSU immediately out of this contending for that first place spot. 15 seconds off the clock already. Ball goes up towards the goal of Mizzou, but they are not going to let one in for free, at least not that easily. Ball control still in favor of Mizzou, but Kansas, they are fighting tooth and nail to try and establish some dominance early. Red with a possible double tap. Whale has the disruption. Cannot let that ball fall back down, or that is a goal against you. Has to play it quick and a little bit reckless. Here comes KSU with a second attempt. That's in!
Wow.
That is Kansas coming back to life, and arguably the most pivotal so far.
What a read here from Kessie as well. Right off the corner, and Crims, that's a very aggressive push from Crims, and to be honest, it's a little bit of an overconfident push there. He didn't think that Kessie would be able to get that read, so he pushes up right to where his teammate is, and instead it's right behind him and into the net. Kansas State with their first lead of this series, maybe something that they can build off of in this Game 3. Quick clear down from Crims as they try to set their own offense up. Yeti losing a little bit of control. Now it's into the hands of Excels. We've seen how much he can control the ball early on in this series. Dish across the field. Crims is there, but beaten out by Red. Whale will gain control of it now as it's into the corner, looking for the midfield pass. They win it out. Excels, though, on the turn into the corner, and Red with the miss, giving Excels more possession and another opportunity for Mizzou.
Kez finds a great touch here in center field, takes it up and over Excel's. Could be the second point on the board, but Excel's is there to catch it out. Now a sloppy trade into the corner, a 2v2, a possible Rule 1 happening, but I didn't get to catch it in that moment as we are going to rotate back over to center field. It looks like everybody is out and running one. No, wait, they're still over there. That's a Rule 1. It's happening. It's finally happening. Oh, there's nothing sillier in this game to me than a Rule 1. I love it. And that's a freebie. That's a freebie. That's how it's going to end. Mizzou tying things up.
Well, we know who wins in the 2v2. Now it's just up to Mizzou to control for the rest of this series. And you know what? That Rule 1 brought to you by Duncan. Starling runs on Duncan, and Rule 1's clearly run on Duncan as well. Respect to the players to keeping it in possession there. Mizzou does not hesitate. Knocking it home, gets the game tied up. Good clear, though, from Kansas State off the kickoff. Maybe something to be found. Yeti on the fake. Crims does not fight. Back the other way again. And Mizzou, 3-on-1 up the field. Dishes it around one. Disrespecting Kansas State to gain the lead.
That might be, let's get a watch on the replay, but that might be the flashiest goal we've seen today. Absolute disrespect on the Yeti. Read them like a children's book and sunk that into goal for a 1-point advantage. Now Mizzou finds themselves up 2-1, back large and in charge where they love to be.
Quickly into that lead again. Kansas State, they held it for a little bit, but not for very long. A double commit, though, might tie things back up. Instead, Red has to play to the side, and again, possession for Missouri. Kansas State has really struggled to find a way to hold their own offense, instead just giving it away time after time. They've got to get it done here. A successful challenge, forced to flip back for it, and Kezi caught in such an awkward situation. Now over to our Stealth. A pinch down the other way, and Kansas State is actually going to tie this one up off of an incredible 50 from Kenzie.
I gotta say, Kez is just, I mean, exactly where they need to be all the time. Finds that just, that's definitely a luck of, or wait, hold on, start over. That's definitely a goal of luck, not one of skill, and I think Kez would be the first to admit that. But as a wise man once said, we absolutely take those. You're able to tie up a series against a dominant force like Mizzou, and you've still got the entire second half of Game 3 to try and form that comeback.
Missouri immediately back into the offense, however. Yeti with space given to him, a lot of respect given to him. Is now it's sent down. Crims trying to get the possession back from Missouri. It's Excels to take back over. Didn't expect his teammate to rotate in. Instead, it gives away possession to Kansas State. A pass across the field. A little bit too far for his teammate. Crims will slow down. It gets bumped by a teammate. Again, Missouri a little bit sloppy here towards the end of Game 3. Maybe not necessarily a little bit overconfident in their abilities to win, but playing a little bit too fast to try to get that win. And Kansas State is awarded another chance at offense, but instead they give it away one more time. It's now sent straight up, beaten out, no one home. They actually use it to their favor and regain the lead.
That is Red's redemption right there, finding a crucial goal with 95 seconds. Powder, at the very beginning of this game, I said, this is a now or never moment. Truly, if they lose this, they have no room to come back. They're going to lose the series. This will be the third game loss in a row. We needed a story just like this to start being told, and KSU in a very comfortable position to continue to follow through on this. 90 seconds left. One more goal could really help them establish a dominance. Whale goes for glory. Crims, oh my goodness, halfway to greatness, but that halfway not going to cut it. Needs to cross that goal line in its entirety. Excelst needs to be the hero now. We're down to 80 seconds left.
Good boost steal in the corner from Excelst. Pinches it off of the defender, trying to get it into the corner, and he does, but Excelst doesn't get the read. Now it's a 2-on-0 down the other way. We just saw the last man upfield for Mizzou. And Kansas State has suddenly brought this back for 2 goals up now with only a minute left.
2 goals up, only a minute left. Now, we learned in our last series that a 2-goal lead with a minute on the clock is not as much a guarantee as we may have thought it was, but, I mean, Kansas, they have waited until their swan song. They've waited until their final hour, but, better late than never.
Great turnaround here from Kansas State. Mizzou just been playing a little bit slower. They now get the flick, a double commit. This might come back to bite them. Crims is up. There's no momentum to triple commit, and that'll certainly result in a goal from Excels. Perfectly taken advantage of. Still time to get one more from Mizzou.
Yeah, you can never, ever make a triple commit like that. That is a lethal mistake, and Excels, I mean, that's weirdly enough, with all 3 members there, that in definition is an own goal. Open goal, sorry, because nobody's going to get in the way in time. That goal is left wide open by that triple commit. Excel's capitalizes in the moment, and now with 41 seconds left on the clock, Mizzou needs to, at the very least, force us to an overtime. Red, a great setup, and even better follow-through, but Crims, a simple defense, is there to break it.
Mizzou back the other way. It'll be a 2-on-1 down the field with one racing up quickly behind. Excel's over one, can't get it over the second. Crims cannot find it either. Whale using the last of his boost to get up to this one, can't get to the challenge. Space and time given to Crims. Up into the air, into the hands of Red. Is now Mizzou, can't get the challenge. It is high, Excel's gaining control. Down the field, flick over one, just bumping Red out of the way. It's wide, the follow.
No!
Can't be saved in the last second, but Crims catches up to it. An awkward defensive stand results in a tied game in the final seconds.
Oh my goodness, I was about to sneeze right before that happened, and then I inhaled so quickly that I lost the sneeze. So if I just start sneezing at any point, I need you all to forgive me. 3 seconds left. There could be a kickoff goal to greatness here. The odds of that happening are notably lower. They're probably going to force an overtime unless Kez gives us the miracle run. The demo! Oh, but it touches the ground. Nobody's there for the follow-through, and now we are going into overtime. For those who aren't familiar, the clock will continue to tick up until somebody puts a point on the board. Remember, if Mizzou wins this overtime, they win the series 3-0. If Kansas wins this out in an overtime, they're able to force a Game 4 and keep the series alive.
Kezi with control and possession, bumping into each other as Crimson excels. Awkward play, now it's Red, but he gives it away to Whale again. That's something that Kansas State has struggled with all series long, and it might come back to bite them. Excels is up, dropping it down, cut off by Red. Goes into the corner. Can't even steal the boost. He's taken off the field. Aggressive from Crims. Sacrifices his life for it. Another double commit from Kansas State. Still works out for a clear, but Excelsis here with possession in deep control as Whale now towards the side. It's Kezi down into the hands of Excels one more time. Kansas State needs to figure out a way immediately to stop giving away the possessions. Now they have it again. It's just a matter of keeping it.
Red has a great setup, probably going to spike it down in front of goal, but Excel sneaks in, has the additional boost to get in, get up close and personal, clears it into Whale, back to Crims, not quite an open goal, you got to get past one defender. Oh, Yeti snatches that moment of opportunity away. Whale with the reset. Here comes the double commit from both teams. The goal left wide open, the ball hurtling off to the side. Crims trying to find momentum, trying to find his time to strike, and just could not get there fast enough. 80 seconds on the clock and counting. It will continue to go up until somebody wins this. Oh, got to bounce up and off Whale, and a very sloppy connection in that center field gives KSU, honestly, a huge opportunity to strike. That clear from the corner, puts it into the wheels of Crims once again, goes high, could be a coast-to-coast. Yeti there to catch it in the center field, and nobody walking away with that win quite yet.
Close opportunities for both teams. Mizzou's had a lot of them to this point, but they almost give an opportunity free over towards Kansas State. Forward now to Crims. He beats out the defender, rolling down, can't get the read. Instead, it's Kezi out towards the side. Red gaining it on the side wall. Can't get the pinch, and he doesn't have anything in the tank to be able to go further on that offensive set. It's Crims playing it slow. Flick over one, Excels on the fake. It's Crims again now, beating out another. Red awkward on the back line, forced to just jump for it. The demolition, freeing up some space. Crims was the last one back. The man did spawn in behind him. Likely wouldn't have been there in time. The pinch down is a little bit high. We have a 3-on-1 down the field. Excel still fights his way through it. He gets the stop back the other way. Excels isn't catching up to this one. It's played to the side. And Kansas State trying to break out an awkward play there. Now Excels to the net, and Mizzou walks away with the sweep.
Oh my goodness! Oh my god! To watch that and then hear someone say sweep at the end, but like, you're totally right. That 5-4 was the closest we got. Their other games complete in total shutouts. What a way to seal the deal and end the series. Mizzou remaining undefeated, and now for the first time putting that one loss on the side of Kansas. That is another undefeated team joining the Commonwealth, unfortunately. But what a turnaround from Mizzou. I'm going to be honest, Powder. That last game, infinitely closer than I ever would have anticipated.
Especially after the first two games. I really didn't think Kansas State had it in them, but Mizzou was playing a little bit slow, and Kansas State certainly took advantage of that. It wasn't enough. You know, Mizzou is still that top team in collegiate like we knew them to be. In Kansas State, they came close there in that last game, couldn't quite get it done. Instead, Mizzou wins it in a long overtime, and they get themselves the sweep. and very likely put themselves into the #1 seed as long as they can win their final matchup tonight.
And how fascinating that it's always about that. You know, we watch them, usually we're like, oh, probably tied for #1, probably. But tonight, we have to be like, there's more. There's more happening off stream that could dictate the rest of the season for some of these teams. And, you know, if we end up getting score lines of the teams we've seen tonight, we will be sure to let all of you know. But those haven't happened yet, so we don't have scores that don't exist. Either way, we're going to be ready to interview a player in just a couple of minutes here. I will say that after this, we've got 2 more series. We've got Old Dominion University, who are 5-1, against Rochester University, who are 5-0. Rochester we've seen before. Then we've got Kennesaw State University, who is 4-1, up against WVU, West Virginia University, who are 5-0. So both remaining series tonight have a team who already has a loss, but if they can rewrite history, if they can bring somebody down to their level, that can shake up the entirety of the standings we know so far.
It really can. Mizzou, again, that one last win for them, trying to avoid shaking things up. But as we head into the final matches, like you had said, with some of these teams coming in with 1 loss on the season and not undefeated like we've seen for the first couple, certainly could be interesting. But to focus on this match, we do have our interview ready with Mizzou.
Gonna jump over to the interview booth. Bada bing, bada boom. We are here with Crims, a player from Mizzou. So, Crims, my first question is, you know, games 1 and 2, you guys just doing Mizzou things, just being Mizzou, winning the game. That's no surprise. Game 3, though, things really started to get nerve-wracking. You have to force it into an overtime, and then you have to clutch it out in those final moments. So, as a team that we often see not in a losing position, what did comms sound like when you guys thought a game loss might be on the horizon?
You know, I mean, we were just playing our game. We should be able to beat this team. We just kind of lost focus for a little bit, and then we just had to, refocus up, and luckily we were able to bring the game back and win.
Yeah, you guys have had a great season up to this point, undefeated coming in. Have you guys felt good about how you've built up throughout the season? Obviously, we know how great you guys are in other leagues as well, competing in CRL. Have you guys kind of use that as practice as you guys kind of look towards the playoffs now for NACE?
Yeah, we're just trying to, keep the run going, and we know once we get to playoffs, there's going to be some pretty difficult teams that we got to get prepared for. So, we're just trying to build up to that.
Yeah, and that kind of leads into my final question as well, is how do you guys feel going into playoffs now? Like we had mentioned, you guys very likely have now secured the #1 seed. Just one more match on the season before it's official. Very likely you got that #1. So how are you feeling going into that?
We're feeling pretty good, just got to keep scrimming, getting prepared, try to iron out some things so that we can, play our best against the teams when it really matters.
Absolutely. So, Crims, one more question for you before we let you go. Is there anybody you just want to give a thank you or a shout out to while you're here with us?
A shout out to the boys on the team, Excelston Whale and Mizzou Esports for, having us, on their team and on scholarship and stuff like that. It really makes a big impact, for a lot of people like us in college.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, hey, thank you so much for joining us for the interview. A big congrats and good luck in your next game.
Thank you.
And with that, folks, you guys should know the drill by now. We're getting ready to throw it to another break. Coming up next, let me make sure I got the teams right. Old Dominion University versus Rochester University, guaranteed to be a certified banger. We'll see you right back here with some more NACE Star League Rocket League in just a couple of minutes.
leading, but it's not going to be by that much at all. As Rulu is just, at the moment, destroying West Virginia. Simplicity loses another stock, or at least their first stock. So Rulu, oh, there's the other stock. I spoke this a bit too soon.
May give an opportunity, but Scrubby and Caillou are here to stop any aggressive plays. With the Nano Swarm, some shots, looking for the wall bang. Caillou finishes it off. This is a hasty maneuver, only 10 seconds left, but no one can make the play.
There is going to be a last-second contest. Ashton University don't want to give this one a fight yet. They have the blade, they have the overclock, and with B1H coming in, if that's a kill, this is well and truly doable.
Yeah, this really is. The Papa Smurf out of Megan, out of the fight now completely, and B1H fire.
Down in towards Secret. Oh, girl. Watch out, Elite's low. Gonna get taken out. Europe on for the ace. And he's got it.
No way.
Zenith blade right in onto Zyle. Zyle staying in the middle. Will use that launcher to get out. Berg following through, but here comes High Key Savage looking to bring one right back for Harrisburg. Drops it with the solar flare. Gets a double kill onto the bottom lane. Looking for more though. Will be Western Kentucky. They return one kill, but High Key Savage wants to make this 3 with a triple kill.
No idea where these players are. Meathead in quite the ratty position, just laying tunnel. Ooh, you have quite the retake if you are north of no information, and Dak gonna get an unfortunate peek. I thought unfortunate. Oh my gosh, Dak!
This guy can do it all.
Now, if you've been paying attention for the past 7 weeks, this is the point in time where you realize, oh my gosh, we're already halfway done with tonight. But guys, I've got the coolest news in the world. Not only do we have League of Legends on Tuesdays now, we've got Overwatch 2 on Tuesday as well, as you saw in the highlights of the week. So we've got 2 double whammies back to back. Tuesday, Overwatch and League of Legends. Wednesday, Call of Duty and Valorant. And then after that, we get all those out of the way. Thursday and Friday, still action-packed and full of some phenomenal esports. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate on those Thursdays and CSGO on those Fridays. So Rocket League is only one day of the week, but now every other day of the main week, we've got some action happening over here at NACE Star League. So be sure to check all that out. And with the end of that, welcome back, everybody. I hope you guys missed us just as much as we missed all of you. We're jumping into map number 3 tonight. Match number 3, not map. Old Dominion University versus Rochester University. And Powder, we talked a lot about this during the break. We talked a lot about how moving forward, at least one team in the remaining series already has a loss. So that's the team we're looking at, because if Old Dominion can put Rochester in a 5-1 scenario, all of a sudden, Old Dominion looks a heck of a lot better. But if they walk away from this 5-2, they're falling not only into the Commonwealth, but onto the lower side of the Commonwealth. So this is a scary moment for them.
It really is, because right now, Old Dominion is sitting in that 3rd seed, where there's a tie for first place between TMU and Rochester. So Old Dominion bringing out Gon, a Pig, and Ace Conjurer, and Rochester, the same roster we got to see before a couple weeks ago, Knight, Kappa 12, and Storm. And we know how dangerous this Rochester University roster can be. They dominated in their match several weeks ago. Old Dominion has to be careful because, again, they are in this uncomfortable 3rd seed position where you only want to go up, and if you go below, you are out of any opportunity to get into the last chance qualifier, the conference championships, the playoffs, anything. They need to stay put, and with that, they might need a victory, but at the same time, with the team where the teams are at below them, they might also have the opportunity to get a win tonight if they still have one more left on their season.
Absolutely. And this is, I think, I often use the comparison David versus Goliath. This is the David versus Goliath-ist matchup I think we are going to see all night tonight. Old Dominion has the largest shoes to fill. They need to take on Rochester, who are, like you said, one of our top dogs here in NACE Star League, and even outside of NACE. This is a force to be reckoned with. This is a roster to be reckoned with, and I know they're not going to pull a single punch going into this. Last time we saw them, it was a very quick 3-0, and as much as I would love to root for Old Dominion here and give you the underdog story, looking at raw statistics, Rochester losing would be a statistical anomaly.
It would be, especially with the way that we have seen multiple iterations of this roster compete. You know, they have a slightly different ones for CRL, but this one really is just as dangerous, especially with the way that they played a couple of weeks ago. Old Dominion has to be careful again tonight. That's why, again, I've got Rochester taking it here. Just too much I've seen from this roster to make me want to choose against them. I've got them Not an easy 3-0, maybe a 3-1, maybe the chance at the 3-0, but I do have them in a pretty solid victory here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And Powder, I do want to mention, not only have we agreed the entire night, we are 2-0 on the night. So Rochester trying to give us that third victory. It would be cool to see us be 100% correct. Could show off how well we know these teams, but at the same time, with one series left, I basically just jinxed us into being wrong. Anyway, let's talk about what's happening in front of us. Rochester versus Old Dominion, jumping into Neo Tokyo, one of my personal favorite maps in the game. I simply love the aesthetic. I know it adds nothing to the actual game itself, the actual gameplay, but something about the aesthetic I really enjoy.
Yeah, it is a fantastic map to play on, and while we're waiting to get into this game one, I do want to mention that there's been a little bit of an update to the standings I've been taking a look at during the intro here. So it looks like Rochester University, this is their last match of the season, and the reason why is because they actually defeated TMU to get that #1 seed. Wow. So at this point, Rochester really has it in them to walk away with this #1 seed. And I do want to mention as well that Old Dominion has already clinched the #3 seed based on the fact that this is also their last match of the regular season. Next team below them is 3-3, so a bit of space, even with the loss, still clinches them #3. And at this point, they're really just fighting to...
So this is for bragging rights.
It really is for bragging rights. There technically is a chance for Actually, I don't even think there's really a chance for Old Dominion to get into the #2 seed. I want to say that the tiebreaker would go to match differential, which against TMU they did lose. So right now, Old Dominion pretty much locked at the 3rd seed.
Yeah, and I want to point out quickly that we have Luca playing for Rochester University, but I'm not sure who's missing yet. It looks like Knight is there, but Kappa and Storm are both not here. We've got Luca, and I didn't catch the other name, but it's a new one to my eyes, that's for sure. Let's see if we can get to that player in just a moment, but for the time being, let's focus on what's happening in front of us. Oh, perfect! There's the name written in the sky for us. Skies being that 3rd player for Rochester. So they've got a couple rotations here, and maybe, Powder, that's because they know they've got that #1 seed in the bag.
They do. This is actually their main iteration of their roster, the one that competes in CRL and the one that I'm assuming is going to compete in the playoffs for NACE.
Sure.
Obviously, other iterations have gotten them some pretty solid victories here in NACE. We saw it a couple weeks ago, but they're bringing out everybody tonight. They needed to against TMU to get that #1 seed, and they look like they want to continue that here with a little more practice before they head into the remainder of their week in other leagues as they start to head into playoffs for NACE.
And Rochester, they're already up 1-0. Like I said, last time we saw them, it was a pretty dominant, 1 or 3-0, and that wasn't even their leading team. That wasn't even their leading kind of front-runner CRL level comp. Now they're bringing that out, and Skies in particular making an early name, doing it aggressively so. Rochester finding themselves up 2-0, not even 90 seconds off the clock yet.
Yeah, quick start from them, and this is what we kind of expected to see either way, and especially with the main roster playing, this is what I really expect to see for the remainder of this series. I'll be completely honest that now with the roster change, we were under the impression that it would be a slightly different roster. With this one, I'm fully expecting a 3-0, and you can see why here. 90 seconds in, already 3 on the board for Rochester.
This is simply the way the cookie is going to crumble. I just want to put that out there one more time. This is a CRL level team. That is the highest possible level these teams could be performing at right now, and they are doing just that. 90 seconds, 91 to be precise. 3 points already on the board for Rochester. Maybe they're going to go for the season record. Maybe they're going to try to go as aggressively as possible.
Maybe Old Dominion has an opportunity to be found off the kickoff. Good pinch towards the back wall, and it's actually own goal, not the touch that Rochester wants, and Old Dominion still has some life in this game.
Old Dominion, they put one down. All of a sudden, they take that 3-point differential. They lower it down to 2, and it's possible. 3 minutes on the clock. I'm going to pull out that double-edged sword once again. There's still 3 minutes on the clock, so Old Dominion, they've got more than enough time. We've been talking a lot about statistics, a lot about expectations, and that is by no means at fault of Old Dominion. This is a very strong team that can perform under the most intense of pressure, but, it's simply going to be a challenge and an uphill fight through and through until the end of this matchup.
Rochester with more offense. Old Dominion, a good clear out, and 2 did commit for Rochester. Skies, though, says it doesn't matter. Still sends it forward, trying to get that angle. Can't find it yet, as now Old Dominion desperately trying to break out over towards the midfield with some space to work with, but instead they give it into the hands of Rochester once more. A pig towards the ceiling as Knight back in the midfield, right into the hands of Old Dominion. They gotta find a way to keep control of the ball. They keep giving it away to Rochester. Maybe now a chance, good passing play, top shelf from Ace Conjurer. He gets one more on the board, and Old Dominion really back into this game.
all of a sudden, we're in the second half, or we're about to be in just 1 second. There's a 1-point differential. Old Dominion, they are the underdog story. They are the Defiers, if we see Defiers here today. 1 point away, 2.5 minutes. This is unbelievably on the table.
At halftime now, Old Dominion with a great opportunity as Rochester looks like they've slowed down a little bit. Old Dominion, though, has certainly picked things up. Everybody goes up the field for Rochester. Now Ace Conjurer tries to chip this one up. Nobody to be found yet. Instead, it's Skies out to the midfield into the hands of a Pig. And going there first, back over towards a Pig, playing it high, playing it away from Knight. He does get it out to Luca, though, looking for the back wall. Double tap, down top, shelf, and in. Rochester back out to a 2-goal lead.
Rochester perhaps getting a little bit nervous when that 1-point differential comes through. They've got to turn the burners on once again, find that goal, and keep themselves in that advantageous position. 2:04 on the clock. Rochester still up by 2 points, exactly where they want to be.
Still time on the clock for Old Dominion, trying to get their way back into it. They need to find a way to set up an offense more often, though. Not being allowed many opportunities from Rochester. When there is space, they are giving it right back into their hands. They need to find a way to keep that close. Otherwise, Rochester, just like that, is going to find the ball once more and play it forward to give themselves more offense.
100 seconds left on the clock. Skies putting point number 5 down on the board. A massive opening for Rochester to keep this lead. Only 99 seconds remain, and it's going to be difficult for Old Dominion to find 3 more points, and that's just to keep things tied up.
1:39 left, Old Dominion. Yeah, not exactly in a great position to make the comeback here. You know, and he misses it off the kickoff, going beaten out. Is now Skies taking control, slows it down, wins out the challenge. At least keeps the offense going. Good play away from Old Dominion, but again, just going straight for the net. It actually works out. I thought the defense could get there in time, but Ace Conjurer makes me eat my own words, gets another one in, back down to 2.
Back down to 2. The name of the game so far, game 1 has been the 2-point differential through and through, 2-2, 5-3, 124 left on the clock. Can I throw any more numbers at you? I don't think so. Either way, Rochester find themselves up 5-3. Skies with a great catch there off the kick, but it looks like Ace is going to be there to snatch away at least a moment of that momentum. A Pig comes in just as quick, trying to keep this point differential as close can be. And Rochester maybe struggling a bit on the offensive foot, as I'm going to say, Old Dominion's defense is really kind of poking holes in the plan over and over.
They really are going now with an opportunity, but again, just the possession being given away from Old Dominion, and I really think that if they find a way to clean that up, heading into game 2, assuming they don't get the comeback here, they're going to have a much better opportunity against Rochester. At this point, just not enough possession to be found with it being continually given away. That one just a desperation clear. Luca back for the back boost. Now a shot in from Knight and into the net as Rochester pushes it to a 6-3.
That was clean. That's the only word I can really use to describe that. That was a really clean play from Rochester. They doubled the score that Old Dominion puts down on the table here in Game 1. With 38 seconds left on the clock, Old Dominion might be able to put a couple down for comfort, a couple down for momentum, but I don't think we're going to see 3 and 38.
No, definitely not from Old Dominion. Maybe they can find something for Game 2, but looks like Game 1's all but over. Going will do what he can. Flip, reset, can't go underneath Skies. Now towards the side, Luca beats one out. Aggressive push, but the shot is wide. Old Dominion really wanted that one. Instead, into the hands of Rochester. Successful challenge. Ace Conjurer cannot get there in time. Sent back out to the midfield. Going, keeping the offense on, but it's not going to mean much. This one's still a dominating victory into the hands of Rochester. What we expected coming in, and especially with seeing this roster out more than expected, as Rochester a dominating 6-3 victory here in Game 1.
Dominating 6-3 victory in Game 1 indeed, Powder. That is Rochester, I'll say it, doing Rochester things. Just being that dominant force, being that leading and driving team to set a precedent for the rest of the teams in this league, just like Nace Star League. Rochester wins Game 1. They are a hypothetical 10 minutes away, a hypothetical 2 goals away from yet another 3-0 victory that would continue having them undefeated on the season. They've already got the #1 seed, but the higher you climb, I'll be honest, the more impressive it looks, and that's probably the exact play style they are bringing to the table today.
It is, and I'm struggling to really find out what Old Dominion needs to do really other than keep the possessions closer. It just feels like Rochester's just too quick for them. They play such a fast gameplay that they're just not able to keep up, and that mixed with them giving the ball away time after time is resulting in more sustained Rochester offense. It's something that Old Dominion needs to find a way to shut down, whether it is through demolitions or just keeping control of the ball, keeping it close to your car, because otherwise Rochester's going to keep coming at them with the same offense.
Going to keep coming at them with the same offense time and time and time again. And, you know, as they say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. In Rochester, they are currently, what is it, 5-0 or 6-0? One of the two. But the point is, whatever it is, it ain't broke. And I doubt they're going to try to fix it here today. They're going to continue that peppering down play style, that aggressive offense. And it's going to be difficult for Old Dominion to respond. But I will say, Old Dominion, putting 3 points on the board against Rochester, they showed a lot of great worth and a lot of great value in terms of playing a reactive play style against a team that some people don't score on at all.
They really did. It felt like Rochester not necessarily slipping up, but leaving slight gaps open for Old Dominion. And anytime that did happen, Old Dominion took advantage. So it's some hope for them in this series, not with a quick goal, and I believe it was an own goal off of Goen. So not the start Old Dominion wants, but you know what? They've got 4:53 left to come back.
That's the double-edged sword, making its appearance being unsheathed once again. You score early, but you score early, and that leaves more than enough time for your opponents to react and adapt accordingly. Rochester going up 1-0 puts them in the lead where they love to be. Luka with a great touch, but it's going to be Ace trying to find some steal of his own. If he can get momentum to his team for even a moment, they can capitalize just like that. Blink and you miss it, folks. We are tied up 1-1. Only 13 seconds have passed.
All set up by the 50 from Ace Conjurer on the side wall. Rochester didn't expect it to happen. They were starting to rush back towards defense, not able to get there in time. And Old Dominion ties up the game. Ace Conjurer quick off the kickoff. Beaten out by Skies, though, with space. Didn't read the bounce, playing it slow, and instead it's Old Dominion. Back to offense again. A slight miss, but a big good job cleaning that one up. Going playing it back, Ace Conjurer to clean things up, and I like the way the Old Dominion is playing. They're playing much faster, and it doesn't feel like Rochester was expecting them to come out this speedy. It's catching them off guard and giving them way more opportunities than they ever had in Game 1.
4:15, barely a minute off the clock, and it hasn't even struck quite yet. Rochester trying to strike, but oh, don't tell me that's a goal. Coast to coast, the knock up and the knock in. Old Dominion from Goen scores, but was that an own goal?
It was Skies.
Yeah, that's just a clean own goal.
I think he wanted to play this to the back wall and double it out, but that is not at all what happens. I'm not sure how that happened, but either way, Old Dominion's gonna take it. 2-1 lead here with 4 minutes remaining, maybe looking for another. Can't get it as Skies puts it away. A pig keeping the offense on. Space being given, but no one there from Old Dominion. Someone needed to be there to keep the offense going. Instead it's Rochester again. A pig off the back wall. Not where he wants it to be. Right into the hands of Rochester, and they take advantage, slam at home, and Rochester ties the game.
Rochester ties the game. They're in a losing scenario, a place that they don't find themselves often, and maybe they've got to turn on the burners a little bit faster. It's been Skies with some really consistent goals so far, impressively so.
Been showing out up to this point. A lot of it coming off of those midfield passing plays. I feel like we've seen that exact same angle at least 2 more times in this series, where one man on the left side just fires it over to the man on the other side.
Yep.
And be a quick goal for Rochester. Luka doing what he can to keep this away. Cannot get the touch. Ace Conjurer just wide. Can it be cleaned up? No, Skies. The diving stop there. Instead, Rochester back the other way. Dropping it down is Knight. Tough angle for Luka to work with. Now going on the turn. He can't find it. Instead, it's Ace Conjurer beaten out by Knight again. Back to the drawing board. Barely saved away by Old Dominion. They are doing whatever they can to try to break out, but instead it's Knight shot put away. But a lot of desperation coming out now for Old Dominion. They finally get a sustained clear out. They'll attempt to set up the offense.
This could be their time to develop an offense once again. We're getting ready to enter the second half of the game. Luka with a great shot, but it's spiked straight up. I believe it was Ace that was to catch up. A triple commit from Old Dominion somehow does not bite them in the butt and keeps us at that 2-2 scoreline. A great catch from ODU in the corner. Once again, hurtling toward the goal of Rochester. Skies has to go for a panic slam into the wall, but it's going to be caught out by Ace. Luka steals it back. Currently nobody home for the side of Old Dominion, but nobody's home for Rochester either. Knight takes it in off the wall. Can Ace capitalize? That's a perfect setup for Old Dominion. Nobody is there to find that spike, and we are still at that 2-2 going into the second half.
Rochester a little bit caught off guard from this aggressive play style Old Dominion's bringing out. There's a double commit, no one home though. Knight straight backwards. Skies is able to play it back forward, up into the air, open space for Gone, but he's beaten out by Luca. It's off the corner. Who's there first? It's out towards Luca again, dropping this off the corner. Skies racing in, gets the touch. It's a bit soft and into the hands of a pig. Clear out to midfield, into the hands of Rochester one more time. Finally, another sustained clear out. Now it's all up to Old Dominion to set up the offense, walk away with the goal for it.
It's a bit soft in the hands of a pig, says Powder. That was a hysterical sentence to hear somebody say. Definitely not a great lineup from a pig so far, and the name makes me giggle every time. I've been trying to stifle it, but I can't help myself. 90 seconds left on the clock, and it's going to be that momentum. Is that another own goal, or am I going crazy?
I want to say it is. We got to take a look here to confirm. Ace Conjurer, it's hard to say because Ace Conjurer is not exactly in a position to take the 50, so you need that other man to go for it. It's just not the challenge you want. It's hard to call it an own goal because it was from the challenge, but it's another one where the last touch does come from the defender, and that's our third of the series, 2 on the side of Old Dominion. They need to turn things around quickly. Can he hook around on it? He cannot. Instead, it's the Warriors back one more time as they're back on offense. Quickly, though, from Ace Conjurers, he tries to set it up again for Old Dominion. Good pass in the midfield over towards a pig. And he beat out Skies. He cannot. Instead, it's back on offense one more time for Rochester as they look to hold on to this lead.
One more offensive boot for Rochester. They've got 60 seconds left on the clock. If they win this one, it puts them up 2-0. It gives us a 5-minute, 1-goal hypothetical for this team to walk away victorious. A great attempt from Old Dominion, but Knight was there to catch it out. Puts the ball control right back in favor of Rochester. A weird kind of triple commit from them, but they separate fast enough to where it's not going to cost them, at least not yet. 35 seconds remain. Can Old Dominion tie it up and give us our second overtime of the night? I guess we're going to have to wait and see.
Looks like they might have the opportunity. Ace Conjurer, though, made the turn, and now they double commit for it. It is hard off the back wall, and everybody on the same side for Rochester. Skies is the one taking this out now. Loses the challenge to Ace Conjurer, but he doesn't have the boost to follow. Allows Going to get the pass in the midfield. A pig going for the challenge. Does it perfectly. They still need to find this pass, though, and they can't get it. It's out into the midfield, out to the other side of the field. A pig with control now. Can they get up the field and get the goal? Flick and a redirect. It's wide, but he can't get back to it. It's back the other way. Luca plays it to the ground, and Rochester one win away now from the #1 seed.
I mean, that was so close, but as we know, close only going to count in hand horse and shoe grenades, and neither of those things involved in the world of Rocket League. Rochester, they take that second game victory, and like you said, they are now a hypothetical 5 minutes, a 1-game, 1-goal away from another 3-0 here tonight.
Rochester, they've been completely dominating. It feels like they're playing a little bit slower from how they normally play, and they can come with a little bit of confidence, knowing that to be honest, this is a more skillful roster than Old Dominion is. They know that in theory, according to the stats, they should take this. It might be causing them to slow down a little bit, but I still think that Old Dominion is putting up a fantastic fight. They are certainly not rolling over and just letting Rochester do whatever they want. They are going after Rochester. They're getting demolitions when needed, challenges that they're winning at times, and it's allowed them to get some offense going. Unfortunately, just has not been enough. And Rochester, again, just with that control, allows them to get out to this large lead in the series.
Undoubtedly so. And I think on the bright side, if Old Dominion does end up losing this, even by a 3-0, the 2 games we've seen so far have been incredibly close. So this is a good opportunity to VOD review against what is, like we said, one of the best teams here in NA Star League. You've been able to keep it this close, this long. What is that missing piece? What are you lacking that is just barely sneaking those losses away from you time and time again? I mean, it can be really fascinating to see Old Dominion work off this series alone and come back twice as strong when we see them again.
Yeah, again, this team, they're not done after tonight. They did clinch that #3 seed. They will be heading into the match against the 2 seed, which, in theory could be Rochester if they lose this, but unlikely. Likely will be TMU, who has already beaten them this season. So Old Dominion cannot waste this opportunity against Rochester. This is basically a free scrim in their regular season, knowing that later on they will be facing TMU. They can try to fight for the win tonight. Very likely isn't going to happen, but again, it is a great opportunity to get some more reps in before they head into their playoff match next week.
I think a free scrim is the best way to put this. This game is easily the lowest stakes game they are going to have all season.
Yep.
Because whether or not they lose this series, it does not dictate their place in the lineup. It still leaves them in that third place slot, win or loss. So using this, capitalizing on this, looking at Rochester and seeing what makes them so good at this game and how can we copy that, that is what we'd love to see. Immediately, the lineup comes through and Luka puts that first point on the board.
Yeah, quick goal here now as Luka starts it off hot for Rochester. We'll have to see how Old Dominion turn things around on that. Because, you know, Rochester, again, this is the roster that we didn't expect to see in this match, but it's the roster that we expected to dominate. So now it's up to Old Dominion to try to turn things around and try to get anything really to improve as they head into their playoff.
Rochester, a great lineup once again. Going to go for the shot on goal. Has to take it up and off. Luka going to be able to knock it away. Okay, we have gotten information that we have a little bit of a tech error. We had somebody disconnect on our side, so if you're looking at the overlay, you're like, hey, that doesn't make sense. Why isn't the timer moving? We're going to get that all figured out for you in just a couple of minutes, but for the sake of time and the sake of brevity, we want to have the players keep playing. So we're just going to try to bring you the story the very best we can. I believe the current score line is Rochester up 1-0. And that is what we are sticking with for the time being. Coming in quick, might see that secondary attack. A pig takes it up and away from goal, keeping us at that 1-0 score line. Old Dominion in the blue, Rochester in the orange. Let's see who's able to walk away with a little more aggression.
Rochester, they have been holding this offense for the vast majority of what we've seen up to this point. They'll go back towards it again, actually losing control there. So instead, Ace Conjurer. But again, early on now, it's similar to what it was in Game 1. Oh, a pig lost a free net there. Opportunity given away, a pre-jump now from both players, not able to find it. It's into the corner now. Drop down from Rochester, going for a second goal. They will get it. It is Luka. Now it's 2-0 Rochester.
Luka, 2-0 Rochester indeed. This is a huge opportunity for Rochester to walk away with that advantage, with that third game win, and with an undefeated main season. It would be quite the performance, and I mean, what do we expect from a team like Rochester? Nothing less.
Certainly not. Great start. We do get the scoreboard back now, so you can see, well, it's actually 2-0 Rochester, but the clock should be correct, just over 2 minutes having gone by now. A pig needs a challenge, cannot find it. Going back the other way, trying to get it, can't find it again. Ace Conjurer will try to kill it, can't get it done. Instead, it's Rochester back in one more time.
Rochester going in one more time as we get ready to enter the second half of game number 3. They're up by a single point, but as we've learned in these 7 weeks, a 1-point lead is hardly a lead at all, and a pig is about to show us exactly why that is the case. All of a sudden, blink and you miss it. There it is. We are tied back up 2-2.
Great goal here from Old Dominion, turning things around quickly. Rough start for them, but just past halftime, they get the game-tying goal in and certainly give themselves an opportunity to get the win here late. Again, would be huge because you know what? Even if they don't feel like they might win this series, at the very least, you win this game, you get another scrim in. So certainly want to fight just to try to improve as much as they can, try to get some more reps in, and just want to take that win overall. Well, miss there, but actually fakes out the last man. Going is there. Low shot put away by the defender. Ace Conjurer will keep the offense going, and Old Dominion starting to play well now.
Old Dominion getting that moment to strike. They see how close they are to forcing, at the very least, a game 4. With only 2 minutes left on the clock, it is within their grasp. Ace Conjurer has the setup, has the lineup, and falls just a little bit short up and over a pig who has no boost to their name down to the final 100 seconds of game 3. That could have been a shot for Skies, but it's sloppy. Rochester going to miss the shot, and now a pig might have their time to shine, but it goes up and over. ODU just fighting for ball control.
And Old Dominion again needing that ball control as well. They've started to struggle and go back to the same game 1 woes where they are giving away possession to Rochester. That's a good challenge out. Nothing you can do there about losing control of it, but can't find it back. Going on the fake, one up in the midfield, that's Knight. Now free space given to Ace Conjurer, bangs it towards the back wall, but that's where Luka's waiting as he plays it into the corner now. Rochester happy to play this one slow as they look to get back the other way, looking for the go-ahead goal, taken off the field, freeing up space and giving the lead over to Old Dominion.
The lead to Old Dominion with only 60 seconds left on the clock. This could be huge, but it could also be enough time for Rochester to clutch out a victory here. We've seen it time and time again. I mean, we've seen it several times today, where the final minute is the most intense minute that we see in the entire series.
Rochester, they still do have plenty of time to come back, and we know that they can score with almost no time left. However, it might be down the field for a free net going. It is wide, and I think the third man was demoed for Old Dominion. Rochester trying to fight back the other way, trying to get that last goal in to tie it up. Can't do it yet. Losing out the challenge. It's back the other way. Now Skies beats him out. All three challenged up aggressively for Old Dominion. 30 seconds for Rochester. The pre-jump playing it high, looking for the double. It's a free net down low. Beats out two and gets the game tied back up.
This is a huge moment for Rochester. 24 seconds left on the clock. They want to try to win this fair and square right here, right now. And they've got 24 seconds to do so, or we're going to our second overtime of the night.
Rochester turning things around, getting it tied back up. 24 seconds left. Feels like that's a common time for these teams to get the comeback and tie things up. 24-25 left on the clock. Now it's Rochester's turn as they look to complete this comeback in this game. Gone down a couple points. Old Dominion's been fighting hard. The demolition, freeing things up, except for a pig on the back line. Knight now off the ceiling, using his reset to his advantage. Plays it softly towards the side. Old Dominion a bit awkward, gives it away into Luca's hands one more time. 0-second goal ends the series, and Rochester walks away with a sweep.
The buzzer beater to seal the deal. Rochester walks away with a sweep, and I'm going to say about her, while it may have been a sweep, that was notably closer than I ever could have imagined. Like I said at the beginning, I thought Rochester was going to come in and just clean house like they always do, but this time I think every game they won was by a single point. That is not the Rochester I expected to see tonight.
No, certainly not. Rochester, you know, it did feel like they were playing a little bit slow, confident in their ability to get the win. They took down the other #1 seed earlier tonight. So, you know, pretty confident that they could get this win. They certainly did, with control and dominating at times, but playing, again, a little bit slower than usual. Still a fantastic victory. They showed us what they're made of and showed us how this is a team to watch out for to make a deep run in the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm pretty bummed that was my first time seeing Old Dominion in the main season, because clearly that team's got some gusto. I mean, they've got some potential, and on the bright side, like you said, third seed, they've still got some time to prove it. They're down, but they're not out yet, and I'm really excited to see what they can do later on, because you go toe-to-toe with Rochester like that, clearly you've got something good going on.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it. They will be facing TMU, so even if we don't get that on the broadcast, I'm excited to check in on the score line, because maybe there's been some improvements for Old Dominion to where now they can possibly take down TMU. Again, they did lose 3-1 in the previous series against them. We'll have to see how they can try to turn things around.
Yeah, that's going to be really fascinating. And Old Dominion, I think, losing to TMU 3-1 and then losing to Rochester as close as they did today, I think we've already seen some growth. We can infer there's been some pretty massive changes to this roster so far, and going up against TMU again, can they rewrite history? Can they tell that different story? Only time will tell. All we can do is sit here and hypothesize, but I truly believe they sit down for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and look at what happened today. They can walk away with a lot of great content. Oh my god, I wish I wasn't alfalfa-ing. I don't know what is going on with my hair. I'm having the worst hair day right now, Shay. I'm so sorry that you guys have to look at that. Anyway, Powder, I don't know if we're getting an interviewee. I think we're waiting to get confirmation on that, but either way, Rochester just doing Rochester things. I think defying no expectations, meeting expectations in the good ways, right? They come in, we expect a 3-0, they give us a 3-0, they keep us on schedule. It's a nice little workaround.
It really is. You know, again, we expected I don't want to call them the secondary roster for Rochester, right, but they had their other players playing last time, and even with that, we saw how much they can dominate a series. It was an easy 3-0 win last time, and when you bring out these players, again, been teaming for a long time in the bubble scene, and just made CRL together as well, you knew it was pretty much over for Old Dominion. So unfortunate for Old Dominion, but a great win here for Rochester. They did get that win earlier on tonight, clinches them the #1 seed as they head into playoffs now.
The #1 seed going into playoffs, the coveted #1 seed that a lot of other teams we're seeing are still going to have to fight for that spot, but Rochester is so dominant, so aggressive. They've got nobody else on their caliber, on their par. There is no tiebreaker for them. There is no next game. They have that #1 seed. And we still have not heard if we're getting an interviewee, so I think we're just going to continue talking about Rocket League. That's very exciting. I know that we have one more matchup here tonight. Kennesaw State University versus West Virginia University. a 4-1 from Kennesaw, a 5-0 from West Virginia. But enough about them. Let's talk about this interviewee. Let's talk to this interviewee, rather. We don't have to talk about them if they are here with us. We are going to be joined by, it looks like Skies from Rochester. So Skies, I'd love to ask how it feels to win, but you guys are pretty much pros at that at this point. So I will ask, moving forward, looking into the future, is this the roster we're going to be seeing from you guys? Because this is the first time on stream we've seen the three of you come out to play.
Yeah, this will definitely be the roster we're sticking with. Cause I don't know if you guys know, but I've known Knight since like kindergarten, and then we met Luca like 2 years ago. So we've been playing competitively for a while, but I think within the recent couple of months we've really been trying to grind it out. We're committed to collegiate. It's been fun, so we're gonna stick it out.
Yeah, and it's something that I was excited to see coming into the season when I saw that Rochester picked you guys up. Obviously, you guys have competed for a little bit of a long time now in the bubble scene as Doodle Bangers. Has that experience together really helped you guys out? Because you had a quick start into collegiate, making CRL, already making an impact in NACE. I'm expecting a deep run from you guys. So has that experience helped you guys so far?
Oh yeah, playing competitively, I feel like it almost gives us an advantage that we've been playing against all these high-level players, and then coming into this, it's nice being having that experience coming in. So like we've worked on our play style against higher players, so we kind of know how to counter them and how to play against all these. Like we played against pros many times, so it's definitely easy coming into all these collegiate matches, having the experience. It's very helpful.
Yeah, and how are you guys feeling heading into playoffs now? Obviously, you clinched the #1 seed tonight with that win right here. How are you guys feeling heading in, knowing you've got that #1 seed, you face the winner of TMU and now Old Dominion, and then from there, the playoffs. How are you guys feeling heading into that?
Super confident. I think once we qualified for CRL, our confidence was just through the roof. So it's only up from here.
Yeah, absolutely. How could you not be confident after achieving something as insane as qualifying for CRL? So, Skies, just one more quick question, and then we will let you go. Is there anybody you want to give a thank you or a shout out to while we've got you here with us?
Probably. What are they called? I forget the league that we played to Spin. That was super huge. We wouldn't even be here if it weren't for them. And I know a lot of people are fans of that story that we played at Spin. We were able to go to a school together, qualify for CRO, which is what everybody aims for. So, that's super huge. And then just, the whole atmosphere that I have here behind me, the whole esports room, our coach, my two teammates, and then just my family.
Absolutely. Well, hey, Skies. Oh, sorry. Okay, sorry. I thought you were done. I think I cut out a little bit. But hey, thank you so much for joining us. A huge congrats on that victory. And I know, I'm positive that we will see you again.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Of course. And with that, folks, we are going to get ready to throw it to another break. We are going to get Kennesaw State University and West Virginia University ready for our fourth and final series of the night. It has been a pretty insane series. A lot of stories have been told, but we've got at least two more yet to be told. We'll see you right back here with some more NACE Star League Rocket League in just a couple of minutes. What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to NACE Star League Week 7 for our fourth and final series of the night. And folks, we were coming into this with an expectation, and then we were immediately proven wrong. So Kennesaw State University, they are still coming in 4-1. But we talked about it. Tonight was the doubleheader. Tonight was the double whammy. And West Virginia University lost their off-stream game tonight, so they are currently 5-1. So Powder, there is an entirely new story to be told than what we thought we were coming into.
There is, again, it shows on the score, or on the ribbon down there, that it's 5-0 West Virginia, but they did lose. They got 3-0'd by Bruton Parker tonight in another matchup of teams in CRL, and this is another one, Kennesaw State and West Virginia. And not only that, but the rosters are the same rosters that we would see over there as well. This, honestly, is one of those series where if it's not a Game 5, I'm going to be disappointed. Because Kennesaw State bringing out Dolo, Aura, and Flitz, and West Virginia, Angel, Rots, and Falls, teams with so much experience from all areas, collegiate and bubble, that I simply cannot wait to get into this.
Yeah, it was so funny. The second that last series ended, Powder said to me during the break, he was like, anything less than a Game 5, I'm going to be sad. Because I wholeheartedly agree. There's so much potential here for this to be our most neck-and-neck, back-and-forth series that we have seen in ages. I would love to see these teams go toe-to-toe. I've got some good connections over at Kennesaw. Not with their Rocket League team, funnily enough, but with another esports team they've got going on over there, WVU, a force to be reckoned with. One I have not had the pleasure of crossing paths with quite yet, but Powder, I am beyond eager to see what these teams are going to do here tonight for our fourth and final series. They are the show ender, and they better put on a show.
And I think that they will. You know, both of us have the prediction, we'll see those in a moment, that West Virginia is going to take it tonight. But this also can be super close. You know, West Virginia...
We also said this before they got 3-0'd tonight.
Right. We said that before we had the understanding that Bruton Parker 3-0'd West Virginia. This, I don't think I'm ready to flip what I'm saying just yet. I still think West Virginia is one of the better teams in NACE, and I still think that they can take the win here tonight. But this certainly adds a whole new aspect of the storyline tonight, because if Kennesaw State wins this match, both teams drop down and the seeding all of a sudden gets flipped.
Right, absolutely. And speaking of seedings, I'm frantically scrolling through the rulebook here to see if I can figure out what happens if these end up drawing. If Kennesaw wins and both these teams go 5-1 on the season, what is the deal breaker? What is the tiebreaker? But I guess we'll get to that in just a little bit, as the game one is going to be starting off here, and already early ball control in favor of Kennesaw, but 4 seconds of ball control wouldn't exactly call that comfortable. A lot of back and forth. We're already getting a pretty predictable game one.
Right. I have to see how these two teams come out. You know, both of them deep into their NACE season, just starting CRL, where they get even more competition. So it's at that point where you start to see the play style ramp up as teams get more and more comfortable. And it's been fast up to this point. Flitz going straight for it. Low shot cut off by Falls. Dribbling it out of the middle. Aura up quick. Beat now by Angel. Definitely the leader of West Virginia. Been playing throughout the bubble scene, throughout RLCS competitions as well. Definitely the player to watch out for, but here comes Falls as he knocks it home. First blood drawn by West Virginia.
Falls puts that first point on the board, like you said, for West Virginia. And Kennesaw, they fall down one early. They want to reset history. They want to go and draw against West Virginia and force whatever that tiebreaker might be. But right now, things looking a little bit bleak. Luckily enough, only 45 seconds have passed. Kennesaw, they've got a hypothetical 14.5 minutes right now to try and make a comeback.
It's Flitz up quick for Kennesaw. Loses control, though. Over towards Falls again. So quick to gain it back. Aura across the field over towards Flitz, doesn't find it. Instead, Angel does, and he has so much space to work with. Being out by Dolo, however, just rots into the midfield, into the hands of Flitz, just banging it downfield. Falls with plenty of boost, gets up to it in time. Out into the midfield, it's Angel into the air. So dangerous, pushed back by Kennesaw, not what they needed. It's an own goal for a 2-0 lead for West Virginia.
A 2-0 lead and a quick one. We made a comment about how we wanted to see a Game 5, but if this is the pace we are setting, we could very likely be seeing a 3-0. We're going to need Kennesaw to really change things up. 1:15 has been taken off the clock. They've got plenty of time to react and to adjust, but right now West Virginia just, slamming these in goal after goal.
Kennesaw needs a response quickly. We've seen that with a couple quick spurts of offense, but nothing that's been that dangerous or that sustained against West Virginia so far. You need to find a way to keep that pressure going, find a way to make West Virginia uncomfortable, because it's only just over 90 seconds in. West Virginia seems very comfortable with the way that they are playing. Slowing it down here is Angel. Over back towards Rots. Back towards Angel. Sets played back now towards Fall. Left corner shot is saved away. Rots will keep it going. Aura trying to slow himself down to keep up to it. Loses the challenge. Back towards Dolo. Over towards Flitz. Pops it towards the corner. But nobody's there from Kennesaw again. And instead it's West Virginia back the other way one more time.
Okay, I'm giving up. I can't find it in the rule book. I know it's in there somewhere, but we'll come back to that eventually. Anyway, West Virginia, they are currently up 2-0. We are getting ready to enter that second half. Things looking a little bit bleak for Kennesaw in game one. But Powder, I'll go back to that broken record. You know, it's only game one. We've seen teams before clutch back a 3-1 victory after losing that first game. It's absolutely in the cards. And Kennesaw, a team that is more than capable, but going against a team like West Virginia, it is going to be a tough one to turn around if you slip into a loss for even a moment.
West Virginia's had the perfect start for themselves as they try to secure that number 2 seed. While you're talking just their semblance, I did find it. So the first
come on!
The first tiebreaker is head-to-head record, which is huge for this, because if Kennesaw, actually that just means that the winner of this gets the number 2 seed.
Yep.
Kennesaw, if they pull off the upset, they come back, they tie the same head-to-head, or they tie the same overall record, but they have the advantage on the head-to-head, meaning they get the number 2. If West Virginia wins, obviously they control both the overall record and the head-to-head. So both of these teams technically in control of their own destiny to get the win and get the number 2 seed. And it's been West Virginia showing up so far this past halftime. Very dominating 4-0 lead, and Kennesaw just has not found anything on offense that shows that they might have an opportunity to make a comeback.
I'll say it, Powder. West Virginia hasn't even just shown up. They've shown off. They're sitting at a 4-0 well into the second half now. We've got 2 minutes left on the clock. Things looking increasingly bleak for the side of Kennesaw here in game one. But I'm going to say it just one more time. That's the beauty of game one. Is it's not the be-all, end-all of Rocket League. You've got at least 2 more games to try and clutch back your momentum.
Yeah, plenty more time. But Kennesaw, they want to find something, and that's been the problem, is that I haven't really seen anything dangerous on offense for Kennesaw. We keep seeing these plays downfield like they're from Flitz. It works out maybe for a little bit of offense, but it doesn't work out for any pressure. Or that is a good challenge to keep it in. Maybe something can be found as Flitz keeps it going, steals the corner boost as well. Might be able to get an opportunity going, but nothing yet. Flitz forced to turn back. It's Aura taking over. Now it's Flitz back towards Dolo. Behind him, instead it's Flitz going up again. Slows it down. Gets the reset. Space and time to work with. Uses it to push it forward, but Aura didn't see it coming. He's not in the position necessary. And once again, Kennesaw has to go back to the drawing board.
You know, Powder, we obviously aren't in the calls with Kennesaw or with West Virginia, or with any teams that we see here on broadcast, but I think that was a pretty clear-cut example of lack of communication. We saw a really open goal in a really small moment for Kennesaw to sneak in at least 1 point, to shift momentum in their favor for just a moment, and they fell a little bit short that little bit. Gonna go a really long way. If they end game one with a goose egg, who's to say game two won't end the same way?
Right, we really need Kennesaw to show us anything, and maybe it's that. Nope, instead it's a backflip from Flitz, but Aura says it doesn't matter. Aggressive third man play goes up the field, and even though it's not going to result in a comeback win for Kennesaw State in game one, gives them great hope for game two. As you know, we saw King make a late comeback and nearly get the win earlier on today. Maybe Kennesaw can do the same and turn it into a game two victory.
A game two victory could go a long, long way, forcing even that game four, giving yourself even 5 more minutes of a breath of fresh air could be a phenomenal way to bring themselves right back into this series. But Powder, all we can do is sit on the sidelines and hypothesize. Game one going to be ending pretty aggressively in favor of West Virginia. They're pulling in a big lead, moving into game two. I guess I'll ask the generic question here, Powder. What do you want to see Kennesaw do different in game two? Was there any specific thing where you were like, holy cow, that's really hurting them?
Nothing on defense specifically was looking too suspect. It felt a lot like West Virginia just had too much offense that overpowered Kennesaw State. Specifically, I want to see them shake things up on offense because too many times they went straight down the field and were immediately back onto defense. They've got to find a way to keep the possession going, keep the pressure on West Virginia, and make them uncomfortable. West Virginia looked a little too confident and comfortable on their back line, just sweeping up these clears and getting back the other way and just knocking in another goal. Kennesaw State, it feels like they're close to figuring it out. You know, they finally got that goal late in game one, but I think a few more tweaks and they might be able to make this a much closer series.
Yeah, I agree. It's funny because you said you wanted to see an increase, and I said, I agree. And then I immediately realized, I actually don't think I agree. I think I would like to see them slow it down, actually. I think I want to see Kennesaw try to keep the score lower, because obviously, if your enemies aren't scoring as much, you don't have to score as much to win. So I think if Kennesaw commits to a hard defense, they stick to it, they prevent West Virginia from finding as many goals, maybe they can sneak away, a 1 or a 2-1 victory or a 1-0 victory. But West Virginia has proven in those 5 minutes, this is a momentum-based team. You give them the inch, they're going to take the mile. So if you don't even budge the inch, you might be able to stall them for that entire mile. You might be able to sneak out a second game win and force that game 4 we were talking about.
West Virginia, if they keep playing the way that they're playing, I don't see this changing that much. They looked a little too quick for Kennesaw State at times, beating them out on many challenges and quick counterattacks that worked out for them. As we head into game 2, it's really up to Kennesaw State. I want to see what they can do to try to get this going. And of course, NACE Star League is also brought to you by Army ROTC. Couldn't do it without their support as well. And Kennesaw State, as they go back onto offense to start game 2, it's again a quick clear out from West Virginia. Flitz does get it back in, but I want to see Kennesaw State find something that holds the offense going. Falls can't find it, neither can Aura. Flitz gets bumped, shot is on and in from Rots. Perfection from West Virginia.
Oh, Rots with perfection. I mean, West Virginia and perfection, peanut butter and jelly. It feels like we're saying the same thing in essence, right? They are coming out so unbelievably strong. They're showing us why they are undefeated, why they made it this far, and why they're going to try to walk away with another 3-0 victory on the board today. Pressure ending here in favor of West Virginia. Can Kennesaw react fast enough? There was nobody there to catch it out. Can they change the story? Can they rewrite history? Or is West Virginia going to walk away with a dominant game 2 as well?
Good stop there. Soft shot. Flitz recovers in time. He can't find it, but Aura does. Playing it forward to Flitz. He gets bumped out of the way. However, it's still in. He recovers quickly again to be able to keep it going. Does he make the turn one more time? He does. Flitz doing a great job of being an aggressive first man for Kennesaw State. It's a sustained offense, which is something that we haven't seen so far. It doesn't result in any shots this time, but it's some hope for Kennesaw State that in the future they can continue to go back to that, maybe find some more shots and some more goals.
A minute 11 off the clock. West Virginia, they're up, but only by a single point, so it feels like we are really seeing a massive differential in terms of pacing. I really don't remember what the scoreline was at 3:40 last time, but I remember thinking the game might be over at 3:40 last time. So West Virginia, they're in a much slower position to win this. Almost a tie up there from Kennesaw, but the defense comes through on the side of West Virginia and keeps us at that 1-0 scoreline.
Oh, what a 50 from Rots, though. Flitz, no chance at getting to that one. West Virginia, after all that good play from Kennesaw State, makes it not matter in the end after this challenge off of Aura. Straight into the net, West Virginia's got their 2-0 lead.
It's that close but no cigar scenario that I feel like we keep finding ourselves at. So close, yet so far away. And being close at this point is not going to get you those victories. It is not going to get you those openings. Kennesaw needs to find what that 10% differential is. What's making it so hard for them to put those goals down? What's making it so easy for West Virginia to score on them? They need to find that linchpin, that kryptonite, and eliminate it, or West Virginia is going to find another 3-0 this week.
Oh, good opportunity to be found. Can they break through? They cannot. Still scoreless since near the end of game number 1. It's right back into the hands of West Virginia. Winning out of challenges falls. Aura up to follow. The double tap down. In the hands of Roth, not what he wanted. Aura, though, stuck backwards. A little bit of open space to be found. Flitz does enough to keep it in. It's Dolo up, looking for the double down, but Falls reads him from the ceiling. West Virginia not allowing anything in the air from Kennesaw State. And it's another struggle for them, is that they can't even go to the air. It feels like that's a play that they are comfortable with. Yep. But West Virginia is shutting it down at the point of contact, not allowing any space to be given. We're just past halftime now. Still scoreless, still down by 2.
Still
the demolitions in the
is that
bumps.
It? That's such okay, Powder. Every week I talk about the textbook plays, right? And how I want to see them, how I think they're effective. Kennesaw just proves my point in gold. Just a phenomenal moment. They come through, they clutch out the exact moment they need to. They put a point on the board and they come back to life. They go 7 minutes without a single point, and now all of a sudden they're 1 point away. And it comes back to that physicality, that thing I know and love, and I know we all love to see. Kennesaw, a breath of fresh air here against WVU.
After a play like that, Kennesaw State needs to go back to it. West Virginia was, to be honest, a little lost on that play, and how can you not be when your teammates are coming out left and right, that they're getting demoed and taken off the field? Something that they need to find a way back to try to get themselves back into this game. Now down by just one with plenty of time on the clock. Falls over one. Flits into follow. Up into the air. Rots to meet him. He plays it into the corner. Angel, lots of boost. Loses it trying to play it out. Gives it away to Rots now again. Looking for the sidewall double tap. Can't get it. Slowed down now by Falls. Playing it forward. Stop made by Aura into the corner. And Kennesaw State looking a little more confident after they got that goal in. You know, West Virginia still has the offense right now, but something about Kennesaw State ekes a little more confidence than I did earlier.
Yeah, without a doubt. And something I don't think we really talked about enough is, well, Kennesaw is technically, like, you know, they've lost a game. They've only lost one game. And I don't even mean in this series. I mean, they've only lost one series. They're 4-1.
Oh,
this is not a team particularly familiar with losing. You know, as I say that, the point is kind of anti-proven there. Kennesaw, a very sloppy touch from Aura. Didn't have the boost, didn't have the angle, and kind of left the goal wide open. I think that was more of a timing diff than a player diff, but it is still that extra point on the board for West Virginia. And with only 1 minute left on the clock, this is going to be a tough game for Kennesaw to turn around. But Powder, like you said, signs of life are visible. There is a world in which Kennesaw can force, at the very least, a game 4.
There is. I just don't know that if they can't make this comeback, if they can force that game 5 and reverse sweep. It's been tough going for them. Like you said, glimmers of hope here and there. Maybe Flitz can find a psycho. Instead, he just uses the psycho pass to himself to give it to Aura. Another goal in, and what do you know? Kennesaw State is certainly within this game. 35 seconds left is plenty of time. They just need another quick kickoff goal like they just got.
They are within reach of greatness. They might be able to one-touch this into goal. 35 seconds left on the clock. Could be a huge moment for them, but it is all but hypothetical for now. Aura takes it high, a great lineup towards goal. Rots just straight up into the air, disrupts that momentum, forces Dolo into an awkward position, but up and over one defender, gets demoed for their efforts. Flitz trying to be the hero into Aura, into Angel, who blocks it out. The saving grace that KSU needed to stay alive, but Flitz sinks it. What a phenomenal pass to tie things up. 16 seconds left.
This is team play at its peak. It would be so easy for Dolo to just fire that on net, try to get the shot, but he sees his teammate in the midfield, fires it over to him, back post shot, beats out the defense. 16 seconds left. Kennesaw State has tied it up, but they might have sent all 3 men upfield. Need to get this read, and he does. Close call there off the kickoff, but what do you know? Maybe a quick counterattack for themselves. Down into the hands of Rots, final seconds as he goes for the air dribble. Little bit wide, falls, holding back, not wanting to risk much. Played forward. Angel happy to try to get this done in regulation. Instead, it will fall to the ground, and we see ourselves in a game 2 overtime.
Again, say it with me, chat. Overtime! Overtime! Because this is like the 3rd one we've seen today, maybe even the 4th one we've seen today. We've seen a lot of overtime, and I love it. It shows how neck and neck these teams can be. There was almost possibility of a goal, but it's going to be stolen away by Falls. Here comes another strike from Dolo towards goal, blocked away. WVU, all of a sudden, they are the team on the back pedal. Angel comes in quick, looking for an opportunity to strike. Might have found it off the right corner. Aura steals it down into center field. Rots there to pick it right back up into the center rotation, stolen away by Flitz. Nobody has control of this momentum right now.
Ooh, tough read there from Flitz. It was hard to get, but with a teammate upfield and him being second man, he needed to get it. Results in West Virginia offense. Rots not going for the follow, leaves it for Falls. Angel aggressive here. Rots aggressive as well. He's the 3rd man. Angel racing back, makes a quick turn to keep offense on and save a freebie. Back towards the back post. Nobody from Kennesaw State communicating it. It's in, and West Virginia's on match point.
Powder, the only word in my mind right now is devastating. That is so unbelievably unfortunate. The communication falls. It fumbles one call, and it's the game-losing call. That is devastating. They lose by a goal, and a devastating one at that, but they are not out yet. Kennesaw has one more opportunity to try to walk away with that victory, but as of right now, their backs are against the wall. WVU desperate to remain... Oh, just kidding. They're not undefeated. They're not trying to remain undefeated anymore, but trying to keep at least that 1 in the loss column. They do not want to double it.
No, they certainly don't. And I know I mentioned there that it looked like it hadn't been communicated. On the replay, it looked like it was simply just a mechanical error on the miss there. One player was in the middle of the net. It's a little tough to read, but you know, tough if you're Kennesaw. You got to just regain from it, and it looks like we do have that here. Yeah, you can see Dolo very likely did call it. Aura was not exactly in the best position. You did have 2 men front post, but still Dolo really does need to get that read. But that's something you can't focus on too much. You have to just regain, go next. You just showed that you can take down West Virginia. Well, they didn't take them down, but they sent them into an overtime. Really looked like they were going to get it done. Unfortunately not. Now they have to reverse sweep. I like their chances to get it done or get it in game 4. I don't know if they can complete a full reverse sweep, but they have been showing those signs of life, like we said, as the series has gone on.
Absolutely. There was that 10% differential, and I also want to take it back. After watching that second replay, I didn't catch it the first time, but that was definitely just a player choice. It was a differential that happened there. Nobody was there to catch it in time. That was no one player's fault. The communication was not at error there, so I just want to apologize for that. I feel bad if I'm wrong about that. But game 4 going to be coming out in game 3, excuse me, going to be coming out in just a minute here. Game 4 is what Kennesaw is rootin', tootin', and ready for shooting for. Almost find an early goal there. It could have pinched in the top left corner. It's going to fall just a little short. Rod's going to have a great pass, a double commit from both sides into center field. Nobody loses much for it, but up and over. Talk about coming to life. Kennesaw putting another point on the board, this time to take the lead.
I cannot believe that did not result in a West Virginia goal. Falls was a little bit too far back, and I think he thought that it would be a bit too aggressive if he pushed against Flitz. And Flitz just had a great recovery after the double commit. He knocks it home. Kennesaw State, I want to say this is their first lead of the series up to this point. They've been building up slowly and slowly. When he gets the stop there, a lead, but not for long, as Rots knocks it home, and West Virginia immediately ties it up.
That was a pretty sneaky play there. Rots just goes in, catches the hit off of Flitz, and has a great pass into goal. We are 28 seconds off the clock already. 2 points on the board, so this is another action-packed game to possibly seal the deal against Kennesaw. They are down 2-0 in the series, tied up 1-1 in the game. This is that moment where devastation may be against Kennesaw, but can they clutch out this game 3 and force that game 4, Powder? That is our expectation with how they've been playing.
Need to find some more opportunities, though. It's been going a little bit more into the hands of West Virginia.
Yeah.
We're only a minute in, but something to keep an eye on is now Aura right back in again. Dolo can't get the challenge. Flits up late. Does get a long clear out, forcing West Virginia to play awkward. Aura with control to the midfield. Flits wide. The double tap just a bit wide again. Angel will take over. Not a lot of possession there. At the position he wanted to be in either. Dolo trying to get this in, can't find it. He had the good idea, just couldn't get it done. Tough play to make. There's Dolo now, across the field, Flitz up, looking for the double down, needs at least a pass. Instead, he might get the goal a bit wide, and now Falls will fall down onto it and get the clear out for West Virginia.
90 seconds off the clock. The clear for West Virginia might be able to set them up for some greatness, but Flitz goes past one, into another, a demolition into center field here. Aura trying to level the playing field, trying to rewrite this ball history, this ball's momentum. Flitz, another great hit. I've got to say, West Virginia, they have missed quite a few goals in this game so far. I feel like this could be a very different story, but they're just not able to find the goals when they matter most.
It certainly could be. It's different from West Virginia. They don't look like the exact same way that they did in game 1. They seemed much more confident, and I'm not sure what changed in their play style. If anything, it could be that Kennesaw State has just cleaned up their defense and shown more confidence, and it's slowed down West Virginia. Either way, it's a bit interesting to see, because like you said, a couple opportunities gone by the wayside inside of the Mountaineers.
2:35 remains. Angel accidentally sets up a great goal. Oh, no, that would have been good for a teammate there, but Dolo tries to catch it, gets caught out, ball goes high, and there's the follow-through. Aura too little, too late. Devastation, we've officially entered the second half, and Kennesaw, they need that second half buff. So many times today, we have seen teams come this close to winning, a single point away from winning, and they fall short every single time. We need Kennesaw to rewrite history right here and try to not give us another 3-0.
It's Angel to the air, though. Always so dangerous for West Virginia. Pass in the midfield, a bit too far out from Rots. He's forced to play it into the corner. Dolo on the challenge, down in the hands of Falls, beats out one. Dolo back last with only 25 boost. Falls over one, a little bit wide, and played to the corner now. I think Flitz had the boost stolen from him. Going to be an awkward situation for Kennesaw State. They still do fight through. They still get the clear. They need offense, and they need shots. Flitz, a little bit awkward on the play, as Rots now over towards Angel. What's another successful challenge? That's what he's done so well to this point. Is just he's been scrappy is the best way to describe it. Quick recoveries that shot wide. Quick recoveries from Flitz, always getting the challenge when needed, and it's worked out in bunches for Kennesaw State, but it's got to result in a goal soon.
It's got to result in something one way or another. We've only got 77 seconds left on the clock. Somebody needs the luck of the draw here. The real question is, who will it be? The clock working so quickly against both these teams. We're to that point where they're hardly playing against one another. They're more just playing against the timer to put that point down. Can West Virginia simply seal the deal and give us that 3-0, or will Kennesaw force that game 4 like you predicted, Powder? Only time will tell, and only the performance of these players will be that final decider. Aurora goes for another great block, goes for a clear, has a terrible touch, unlucky. Flitz does find that pickup though and rushes down toward the goal of West Virginia. The trades back and forth. Nobody can maintain possession of ball.
Oh, not yet. Kennesaw might have an opportunity. Given away, though, again. Ooh, Flitz, though. Possession in the air, looking for the double down. Falls, gets the read. Backboard not going to be allowed any space for either team. 30 seconds are left. Are we going to see a second straight overtime? Oh! Maybe not. Angel might have just clutched up. 26 seconds, and West Virginia's on the poise of the sweep.
That was just such a clean jump up and over Flitz. Dolo, 1 second too late, but those seconds add up so quickly in a game like Rocket League. Powder, 26 seconds remain. Can Kennesaw give us the clutch goal we need to tie things up and force it overtime, or will West Virginia walk away another 3-0 victory tonight? Okay.
Well, there's Flitz. He knocks it home, ties it right back up for Kennesaw State. Maybe we will see that overtime.
We're getting danger close. Don't chant it yet, but get ready. You know, that overtime chant. Just waiting around the corner. Kennesaw, they're danger close. They might be able to force it, but West Virginia, 20 seconds is, I mean, that's years in a game like Rocket League. That is plenty of time to make something happen. Dolo gets possession first. Might be able to sneak out another goal, putting Kennesaw in the lead. It will be stolen away just as quickly, however. And Flitz into Dolo, into West Virginia. Can they find something? Dolo has to clear downfield. Flitz goes up way too far to the left. That may be the very play that forces us into overtime. 2 turns to 1, 1 turns to none. We've officially entered that garbage time, and we are now waiting to see who will find that goal, or if we will go into overtime.
Oh, no.
Refusing to drop it. Angel has the lineup. Falls has the follow through. It's going to be off to the left, but it's not into goal. Too little, too late. That will be in overtime once again here in Game 3.
Mere inches from a sweep for West Virginia. Kennesaw State needs to take advantage of this. Angel down in again, gets the double, wide off the back wall, falls on a quick turn, will keep the possession going, slows it down, smart play, and he get over Dolo. He actually goes under.
On now.
Flitz now on the challenge, needs another, gets it out. Again, the leading man for Kennesaw State has been Flitz. Can he be clutching overtime? Cannot take the man off the back wall. Instead, it's Aura looking for the back wall himself. Into the corner now, Flitz looking to drop this down again, looking for another bump. Can't find it this time. Dolo on the turn. Aura, last man back, has to play it into the corner. Little bit risky, but Flitz is there to take over. Quick challenge from Angel. Out into the midfield and cleared once again. Flitz on the straight shot, can't sweep the man. Instead, it's back in, and both of these teams have played fast so far in overtime. We're a minute in, and both of them have had some close opportunities.
Some close but no cigar opportunities. Here comes a shot from WVU. Blocked out. Flitz has to knock it sloppily into the corner. Angel has to follow up. That's a great set if a teammate can find the clutch, but it goes too far. Balls just cannot make it in time. West Virginia, they do not want to lose this. They want to give us a 3-0 as Flitz is hurtling towards an open goal. It forces Falls into another clunky spot. Full boost on the table. The setup is huge. It goes through, and it's in! KSU walks away with a Game 3 overtime victory. And folks, just when you think we are ready to pack it up here tonight, we are going at the very least to a Game 4.
It's gone now, but I'm not sure if anybody saw, but Flitz had, and I'm not exaggerating, 0 boost that entire play. You could see the way that he was flipping as well, desperate to keep the play alive. It's something he has done well so much in this series, the scrappiness, sticking through with the play, and it's clutch. He gets the goal, gets the hat trick in this game to keep Kennesaw State alive. They head to a Game 4, and suddenly Kennesaw State is looking up a little bit.
And with that, folks, we need to throw it to a very small break due to that Game 4. We want to make sure these players have time to rest their hands, use the restroom, get some water, do whatever. Physical health, very important. Mental health, the very same. We want to make sure they have plenty of time to talk this through, get a little bit of rest, but we'll be right back in like 2, 3, 5 minutes. It won't be long. We'll be right back in just a couple of minutes with what could be our final game of the night. We'll see you soon. What is going on, everybody, and welcome back just one more time. Nace Star League Week 7, Game 4. Kennesaw, they almost go out with a whimper instead of a bang. They are danger close to losing the series, and in an overtime advantage, they find themselves victorious now. They have one game on the board. Powder, they need 2 more to defy expectations, to rewrite history, but to take down a team like West Virginia is going to be an insane feat.
It really is, and especially after this break, this kind of, in my opinion, the break favors West Virginia a little bit more because they get to they get to take a break now and slow down after that overtime loss. We did see 2 overtimes in a row. Kennesaw State took the previous one. So West Virginia did need their time to try to reset things because, to be completely honest, Flitz kind of tore them apart in that game 3. He scored all 3 for Kennesaw State, and he scored the 3rd and overtime goal with 0 boosts throughout the entire play. West Virginia needs to find a way to stifle Flitz because right now he is that first man for Kennesaw State, and he's leading them on this charge as they attempt to get the reverse sweep.
The reverse sweep. Get those open the closet, gang. Don't get the brooms out yet, but like just keep them in arm's length, okay? Because there is a very real possibility that KSU has found themselves in a potential reverse sweep. But this is a very slow start. Angel might have the top corner. Nope, Crossbar has other plans. Not able to put that shot on goal quite yet. 40 seconds down the drain. Nobody with a point on the board.
Kennesaw State's had most of the control so far. Dolo was the last man back, though. This should be a freebie for Angel, and it is double tap home. Kennesaw State needs to clean that up. You cannot be double committing against a team like West Virginia. Much too aggressive, and it comes back to bite them.
West Virginia, a team in the lead, and I'm trying to remember, I don't have the perfect predictions or the greatest memory, but I feel like each time we've seen them take the lead, they haven't been a team to lose it. So is this kind of a historical moment, possibly for West Virginia to walk away with a Game 4, give us a 3-1, shake things up a little bit, or can Kennesaw come in a little more aggressive than normal? Can they strike some action quick? Oh, a close block from Aura, but a block is still a block at the end of the day. Dolo takes it high, clears it down towards field. Flitz with a great catch. If Rotz is gonna miss, that would have been a goal, but Rotz does not miss. Living up to that West Virginia potential. Dolo takes it in and off the corner. Rotz has some time to strike. No boost left in the tank, though. Passes it right over to Flitz. Angel there to intercept.
Ooh, slight double commit here from Kennesaw State. Can they recover it in time? They do. Aura bumped, though. Flitz on the rotation. Able to get it. Angel looking for the midfield again. Can't slot it through. Aura stops him. Now falls up with a full tank of boost. Can't go over Flitz. Instead, it's Angel taking over once more. Don't want to leave him alone in the air. He won't be able to recover, but will a teammate get there? They can, and Falls will be the one to keep the offense going. Taken off of his head by Flitz. It's Angel killing it one more time. Flitz instead will turn back. Now go for a challenge. A bit too late. Falls is there playing it high. Playing it to himself, but he can't catch up to it. Rots to keep the pressure on one more time, and as this game has gone on, it's been a little bit more West Virginia pressure. We saw Kennesaw State early on, and since then, it's been all Mountaineers.
It has been the Mountaineers all day long. To believe this game is already almost half over, we only have 1 point on the board, but
double.
Oh! Oh, no! Oh, I thought I was going to be proven wrong, so I just stopped talking, and then I was proven right, and that kind of hurt a little more even. Oh, my goodness. That was such an unfortunate circumstance for Kennesaw to find themselves in. They almost tie things up, but almost, I've said it 1,000 times, just isn't going to cut it. You've got to find that ball 100% into the goal line to walk away victorious, and as they fall that little bit short, it is going to hurt their chances of turning this around. 131 seconds left on the clock. Kennesaw, they've got the time to turn things around, but do they have the opportunities to strike?
And there was an opportunity right there, a little bit too powerful of a pass to Flitz. Cannot catch up to it. They go right back to the drawing board. It's Flitz again. He, again, has been that man for Kennesaw State, but he's been silenced a little bit so far. Aura caught awkward. They still get the stop. Rod's gone too far upfield. He can't get the goal in. Again, Kennesaw lucky to still be down by just 1, just like they were late in the previous game. They walked away with the win. Can they go back to it one more time? Get the goal in. Got just over 90 seconds to do so. Otherwise, they'll be dropping this series. It's Flitz again into the air. The flip reset, taken off of another defender's head. Caught awkward, but they can't get around on it. Aura over towards the side and into the corner. Flitz Another challenge, not successful that time. Still over towards Dolo. Double down. Flitz goes up. Can he get the angle? Too powerful. It's off the back wall, and Aura's not there in time. Unfortunate play for Kennesaw. And now back the other way again. Kennesaw doing anything possible to try to get it back. Less than a minute left. And West Virginia trying to put on the pressure.
Kennesaw trying to rewrite history, but just cannot make that happen yet. They've got 47 seconds left to strike once again to tie us up, take us to another overtime, and force that coveted, that golden game 5. But right now, West Virginia, they have all the most powder, got this game in the bag. A great block from Angel puts ball control right back in the hands or the wheels of West Virginia. Falls takes it up high, and it is cleared away. So many almost goals in this game, but only one of them has truly found purchase so far.
Been close, and now Kennesaw still held scoreless. In the final seconds, it's just wide. Aggressive third man play gets put away one more time. Flitz last back. A lot of boost in the tank, excuse me. The stop is still made by the defense. Takes it off of his head. Second man was caught upfield. A backflip. Rods also misses. Flitz slowing it down. Shot is on the goal line and in.
Oh,
and Flitz
no.
one more time.
No way! Get out of here! 4 seconds left, and they're gonna clutch it up like that? Holy cow, folks, if you wanted entertainment, if you wanted a high-caliber, high-quality Rocket League, where else could you find this other than Nate Star League? This is nuts. Kennesaw, they're keeping things tied up 1-1, 4 seconds left, almost a guaranteed overtime. We'd need a miracle play, and who else but Angel to bring us one? That would be so thematically perfect, but it looks like it's going to be smacked right into the ground, and now 1-1, another overtime. Powder, this might be the first time we've seen multiple overtimes in the same series.
Very likely is, and each team has taken one to this point, and none bigger than this one now for Kennesaw State. They took the previous one, and Flitz is the one to send them into this overtime. Let's see if he can clutch up one final time. Not even a final time, they'll still have one more to go. It's Dolo, though, on the solo play, or a little too far upfield. He can keep the offense going. Quickly taken off. Aggressive play there from West Virginia. Pop off the back wall. Somebody racing in. Demolition, but the shot, it's too tough of an angle. Dolo will just keep the possession going. Not for long as West Virginia back out to midfield. Blitz into the hands of Angel one more time. Now West Virginia trying to set up an offense. Maybe not for long as they double commit. Now caught awkward. It still falls, though, recovering. Blitz up. Net is still open.
Oh, come on.
Aura's there.
Oh, come on.
Is on. We're headed to game 5.
We are headed all the way to game 5. So close, yet so far away. And Kennesaw, they have found it. Team after team after team I have talked about. You know, there was that 10% differential. There was that small change they couldn't make that kept causing them to lose. But Kennesaw has found it, and in these golden moments, in these pivotal, insane moments, we have gone from a 2-0 to a 2-2. There is one game. There are 5 minutes left to decide who will be the victor here today. Can Kennesaw tie things up and give these teams equal scores going further into the season, or will West Virginia finally clutch out those final moments? But Powder, no matter what happens, there is one more chance for these teams to strike.
It really is, and Kennesaw State, I really, almost at this point, give them the favor right now.
Agree. I think I'm ready to flip.
I don't know if I'm ready to flip just yet, but with the way that they've been playing, it's so much more confident than it was early on. West Virginia, especially in game 1, kind of just did whatever they want to Kennesaw State, and since then, it's really been all Kennesaw State. West Virginia did hold the lead majority of that game, but after that goal got in, it was really Kennesaw's game, not necessarily to lose, but they kept the control the vast majority of the time. It took a very long time, took until 4 seconds left for Flitz to tie it up. They get it done in overtime and send it to a game 5.
Just absolutely unreal, and by no means an insult to the other members of Kennesaw, but Flitz has been the MVP of this series. Undoubtedly so. The difference maker when the team needed them most, and to find that tie-up, to find that game tie-in goal, to give their team the opportunity to stay alive, made the difference at the end of the day, and kept us all the way into this game 5. We've got one game left. We are this close to Kennesaw giving us a reverse sweep, but at the same time, West Virginia, they've slipped twice. They've fumbled twice. Is that going to happen a third time?
Honestly, it's tough to say. Both of these teams have things going well for them, and both of them have things they can clean up a little bit. West Virginia is allowing too much space now towards Kennesaw State, and it's been allowing them to keep possessions going. It's allowed the third man to rotate up and keep that possession going. West Virginia needs to find a stop to it, otherwise they will be the victims of a reverse sweep. And it is early offense for Kennesaw State. Looking for the back wall. A backline demolition doesn't matter much when Angel's back the other way. Another demolition, maybe Kennesaw State going back to that demolition play that worked out earlier on in the series. Push forward now, Flitz has an open net. Excuse me, actually Angel rotating in, he gets the stop. Now West Virginia trying to get back the other way, trying to get a goal. Now they definitely have an open net is on. It is, and Angel has first blood in game 5.
Angel, the player that West Virginia needs right now. And I was right there with you, Powder. That's why I gasped like that. I thought that was an open goal. Snuck in at a crucial moment, kept the dream alive, and did not allow Kennesaw to score, which obviously allows West Virginia the opportunity to take the lead. They've had a lead before, they've lost a lead, now it's happened twice. Will it happen a third time, or can West Virginia finally put their foot down and walk away victorious?
It's Falls going back the other way, maybe trying to give a little more possession to West Virginia. It's looked better for them up to this point, especially when Angel goes to the air. He gets the double, can't find the triple for the pass. Does steal the 100 boost, though. Could be huge towards keeping this possession going for West Virginia. Falls now off the back wall. Aura plays out to the side into open space for Flitz to go up for. He's looking for the back wall, trying to double this down. Gets the read and in. Easy enough for him, and he gets the game tied.
Hashtag the Flitz difference. That's a long hashtag, but that's how I feel right now. There's no better way to describe it. It's just Flitz finding goal after goal after goal, just keeping this team alive, restoring Kennesaw. Every time I think they're finally going to go down, Flitz just busts out the CPR, starts over, all over again, and is finding themselves in an advantageous position to keep this series tied, if not to win this series out in the first reverse sweep we'd see in a while.
It would be. Is Angel, though, back the other way. Can't get much going for West Virginia. Third man's a little slow to it. He still wins the challenge. Now Flitz, he loses the challenge again. It's Angel, back wall, gets the challenge one more time. We're off the corner. Rots, taking over, not for long. Aura back the other way for Kennesaw State as they look for more offense, looking to get their first lead of this game. Midfield pass is a little slow, perfect for Flitz to catch up to, but slow enough to where Rots gets there as well. Angel double in the midfield, beaten out by Flitz, but it's a double commit from Kennesaw State. Dolo still getting a clear to at least midfield. Can he finish it off now? Not quite yet. The third man rotations from West Virginia, enough to keep the possession on.
We're getting ready to enter that second half, and things looking great for Kennesaw State. Every time they have kept it drawn like this, they've been able to sneak away a victory. So if they can continue that pattern into this fifth and final game, they could really upset West Virginia and take that game win, that series win. That would be absurd to say the least. The luck of the draw on their side. That not going in is nothing short of a miracle. Kennesaw just barely keeping things tied up 1-1, 2 minutes left on the clock.
Barely a miss there from Kennesaw State. Luckily, doesn't turn into a goal. Angel now looking to drop this down right in front, but nobody is there for the Mountaineers to clean up. Rots will go off the ceiling. Can he get the shot? It's a pass down. Much too powerful. Force Falls to just shoot us towards the side wall now. It's Rots once more keeping the possession on. And West Virginia has held it for a very long time now. They want to walk away with a goal after all of this, and they will not. Back the other way, and it is in their favor. It is in their possession, but coming away empty. Almost an open net. Falls has to race back for it. Awkward double commit, opening things up a little. Flitz given space, so dangerous with it. Falls still gets the challenge out. Angel back the other way.
Flitz has been nothing short of dangerous with it, Powder. I could not agree more. This has been a menace of a player, and like I said, realistically, the MVP of this match, win or lose, keeping the dream alive, whether they want to be or not. 70 seconds left on the clock. Kennesaw, this is the story they've shown us 2 times. Can West Virginia rewrite history, or is Kennesaw just going to bring it home in a complete and total reverse sweep?
It's going to be close as we head down towards 60 seconds. Flitz into the air, another time, air dribble under one. Falls caught in a very awkward position. Aura able to challenge up on him. Down from Angel, won't get the follow, but Dolo had him red, is getting the touch, forces him into an awkward spot. Aura back out again now. Kennesaw State building up that pressure a little bit more after West Virginia held it for so long. Flitz down for the double, it is wide. Dolo, plenty of boost, still beaten out. Double commit, Flitz the last man back. Falls falling off of it a little bit. 30 seconds are left as both teams are being given plenty of opportunities in these final seconds. Can Kennesaw State clutch up right here? Aura can't get up to it. And it's West Virginia back the other way.
Folks, I promise we are not just playing a loop of the same game times in a row. These have truly been 3 individual games, but no matter how it goes, it seems to end the same way. Kennesaw ties things up after West Virginia takes the lead, and finally, history will be rewritten. West Virginia finds their second goal, and I've got to say it, Powder, realistically, the series-winning, game-winning goal, unless Kennesaw gives us a kickoff goal to then force another overtime, but West Virginia may have finally done it.
They've got to plan for this kickoff. Only 7 seconds left. It is enough time to set up a possession, but you can't give away too much time. Now back into the offensive half. That clear might have just done it. They need to go coast to coast. Flitz, can Aura catch up? He does. Dolo into the corner, across the field. Awkward, though. Still kept up by Flitz. Dolo across. This should drop, and there it is. West Virginia staves off the reverse sweep, and they get their victory much closer than they may have wanted. But it's still a victory nonetheless.
That was definitely the closest series we've seen. We've seen other games go, 1-point differential, then they clutch out a 3-0, but that was almost a complete and total reverse sweep. So West Virginia definitely sweating off of that one, but their scoreline remains pretty darn good. I believe they're 6-1 now, including their 1 loss today. So that is a very impressive scoreline. I just cannot believe Kennesaw fighting tooth and nail, showing us they are a team worth watching, a team worth keeping an eye out on, because they can go up against the greatest and almost live to tell the tale.
It feels like a team that this Kennesaw State team is one that can improve with time. Obviously, West Virginia has a little more experience as a roster than Kennesaw State does. I want to say Kennesaw State just had formed at least some of their roster this semester. So some of that still does come with time. And if I'm correct, I think it will be still the same matchup in the first round of the playoffs as the 2 and 3 seeds go against each other. It'll be West Virginia and Kennesaw State, if so. And in that second matchup, if Kennesaw State can make a few tweaks and improve over the next week or so until then, I think they've got a good shot at winning. West Virginia was impressive the vast majority of this match, but they kind of faltered in the back half of the series. It wasn't until really when that goal went in at the end that I was fully confident that they had the victory here.
I mean, they've got one heck of a VOD review, right? I mean, Kennesaw, they go toe-to-toe with West Virginia, and they're going to be able to study this exact matchup. Like you said, we might see this exact matchup again down the line. So they know the players. They know the play style. They know the system that they have to destroy, that they were this close to beating. And, close, just simply not going to cut it in a game like Rocket League. But I believe if we do see this matchup again, there's a very, very real chance it goes the other way. I think Kennesaw proved that today.
They did, and Flitz especially, and he was the one that was kind of a last-minute addition as to this match specifically. Of course, some of these teams playing with different rosters for different leagues, and Flitz was announced just shortly before the match that he would be joining in the match, and he was that leader, and it makes sense. He's on the main roster that competes in other leagues as well. It makes sense that he's that first man. We'll get an interview here with West Virginia to talk about their side of that series.
Yeah, and I can't wait to hear it. So let's see who we've got in the interview booth with us as we jump over there. It's going to be from West Virginia University, Angel. I think a great interviewee. So Angel, my first question, putting you right on the spot. Things are looking great. 2-0. 10 minutes later, 2-2. What did comms sound like going into Game 5? What was your primary focus as a team to ensure a victory in that 5th game?
I think after game 2, we got a little bit too comfortable. We kind of let comms slip a little bit. Going into Game 5, we just were trying to refocus the comms, trying to get refocused up, and go back to the original game plan of what we started with.
And heading into this match, we saw it was last minute, but you guys did drop the series to Bruton Parker in a 3-0 loss. Did that kind of affect you guys in any way coming into this, knowing that either way, very likely you're going to end up with a 2 or 3 seed? It was already clinched, but did that kind of affect anything going into this match?
I don't think so. Usually we try to take each series, one at a time. I think the 2-0 at the beginning of the series kind of shows that it didn't really affect us that much, and then, like I said, the next day is cool with it. But no, I don't think it affected us too much going into it.
And heading into the not just the remainder of the season, the regular season's done. Heading into playoffs, how are you guys feeling? Because you're one of those teams that we would consider like the top dogs of collegiate, not specifically just NACE. How are you guys feeling going into it as you look to make a deep run?
We're looking confident. I think we feel confident. I think we're playing confident. I think today was a little bit of a slip up, obviously, with how the games went. But I think just playoffs in general, I don't think today is a good description of what the rest of the season looked like for us. So I think we're still confident going into it.
Yeah. Oh, excuse me. I have a dry spot. You guys will forgive me for that. But Angel, just one more question before we let you go. Anybody you'd like to give a thank you or a shout out to while you're here with us?
West Virginia, obviously, thank you to them for supporting us as a school, family, friends, everything like that, teammates, everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Very well said. Well, hey, a huge congrats on that win and a great series to close on the night.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. And with that, folks, like I said, all good things must come to an end. We are getting ready to close out the night. But before we do so, I want to give a shout out to, as soon as this will load, Extra Life, Corsair, Monster, BetterHelp, Duncan, and Mavix. This would not be possible without any of them. A big shout out to all of our production in the back line for making everything that isn't Powder and I sitting at home happen, but everything, all these magical moving boxes around us, that is all our wonderful production team. Of course, a huge shout out to all 8 teams coming out tonight, and I'll say, giving us 4 phenomenal series, and thank you all for watching. We love each and every one of you. Check your roster, drink some water, don't forget to love each other, and we'll see you soon.